Rushers. They run a double at him. Finds a cut behind the back. Three-pointer, good.
Welcome to another edition of the Stay Hot podcast. I thought I would go live again tonight just to talk about the TBT La Familia versus the Louisville TBT alumni. But one thing that never gets old is beating Louisville. One thing that never gets old is beating Louisville. Let's watch that play one more time.
Rushers. They run a double at him. Finds a cut behind the back. Three-pointer, good.
DeAndre Liggins showed out today, 38 years old, behind the back pass to the Dragon Khalil Whitney, knocks it down. Probably the highlight play of the game. I wouldn't necessarily say the most important play of the game, but the highlight play of the game for sure.
Preview.
Oh, sorry, I fell asleep waiting for another Mark Pope commitment. Welcome to the Stay Hot podcast. I am your host, Patrick Kelch.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. Big Blue Nation continues to show up and show out. Not to mention
Small town roads, big dreams, gym floor scars, blue seams. I come from where they keep score. Real coach, real talk, real war.
Stay Hot podcast. I am your host, Patrick Kelch. Welcome, everybody. Good to see some of you already in the chat. Shout out David. Holly's back, L's down, baby. As you know, that's what we're about. Crash. This was a very well timed live stream. I actually didn't know I was going to go live until 2:30 this afternoon. So if you'd had me on Facebook or Twitter, you'd probably have had a little inside scoop on that. But Crash is still trying to be mysterious. What's up, Brian? How are you? Yeah, F them dirty birds. I'm all about it. Coach Hood's auditioning for that last assistant coach spot on the bench. I'm afraid he had a couple good sets out of timeouts, but his most important one was there at the end, which we'll talk about here in a minute. As you're coming in, be sure to like and subscribe to the Stay Hot podcast. Let's get some likes. Let's get some new subscribers tonight. I've been stuck on 816 for about a week now. But I understand it is summer with football season coming up, getting back into the fall, that'll pick back up. Shout out once again to our sponsor, 14K Sports Media Production. If you're on Facebook, go follow 14K Sports Media. They're going to do some great things coming up this high school basketball season. They got a lot of great ideas planned, and it's going to be great for our high school athletes. So make sure as you're coming in, you give us a like and a subscribe, so we can continue to reach out to those that we're not to yet or haven't reached out to, and I'll talk to. We want to reach as many people as we can, and I'll talk out to how I know that we haven't, we're not reaching everybody yet. Yesterday, we talked about this last week. We talked about how Big Mike of the Loyal Fans BBN show. I know that a lot of you guys in here are familiar with that show. I know a lot of you watch Big Mike's show, and the reason I know that is because you're all the one that turned me on to it. And, for that, I'm thankful and grateful. I'm glad you did. I'm just putting a link out. So with that being said, I am live now, Gary. I'm live right now, so you're just in time. But, yesterday Big Mike had his live show in Louisville at the Melwood Tavern. I wasn't familiar with the Melwood Tavern in Louisville, and I'd learned that is the oldest tavern in the state of Kentucky. I think it was established like in 1885 or 1886. I think I saw on the sign, or maybe 1850s. Not sure, but I thought that was really cool. Still provides a great atmosphere, great vibe. I got to meet some of our fans. I met, of course, I'd met Big Mike on the show that night. He came on from Saudi Arabia at like 5 a.m. I think you all remember that. I got to meet BC for the first time. I'd seen him on a lot of Big Mike shows. Got to meet him. I got to meet Miss Lee. I love watching Miss Lee and Jimmy Jam on Wednesday nights. Jimmy Jam, I've talked to him on the phone. I've talked to him online. I got to meet him in person as well. Jake Cornette was there. What a good dude, man. I got to talk to Jake quite a bit. Jake, he sat down and we talked a lot of UK basketball, a lot of things in life in general. And Jake's just a really good dude, you can tell. And if you hang out with Jake, you're probably gonna be a better dude for it. And I got to meet, if you all seen him in chat, he's WKRP. I know he hasn't been in the last show or two, but I got to meet him yesterday for the first time. And then there was a lot of other fans there. And to be quite honest with you, he had a really great turnout for his first show. I was very, very pleased to make that drive just to watch his first ever live show. And, you know, those of you that know Big Mike, he's an emotional guy, man. He takes pride in his work. He takes pride in doing the best job that he can. And he takes pride in his show. And that was very easy to recognize early on. But Big Mike got a little emotional seeing everybody there to watch. He did. I think he said that he is leaving on Wednesday to go to Qatar. So he's going back out of the country. But I think at this point in time, he's able to take his family. He also did say that he's going to continue his shows, although the time difference here in Qatar, you know, when we're asleep, he's up. When he's asleep, we're up. But he is going to continue the show. So I thought that was great news, really great news, because I really enjoy his show. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for here. And I want to just show you one thing else. Oh, I did happen to win a door prize. I won a loyal BBN fan show, all things UK sports mug. So that was great. I will be putting that to good use. But I just did get it home. There is a picture I want to show you all, and I thought I sent it into my mail earlier today, but either it did not go through or I didn't send it. I will say that we've been storming here some today, rains, high winds, and I was beginning to wonder if my internet was going to connect. I had some problems with it, but I finally got it to connect, and which is good because I really wanted to do a show tonight just because I wanted to talk about the TBT game between the Kentucky alumni and the Louisville alumni, which we'll get into in due time here. All right, let me check my email since I got it in there now. All right. Those of you that watch Big Mike's show, make sure you get on there and if you get a chance. All right, I had to go back to the chat. But if you get a chance, reach out to Big Mike and congratulate him on a job well done yesterday. You can see that he had a decent crowd here. This space isn't really, really big. But there were a lot of fans there. It was a very interactive show. They took questions from the crowd. They gave us a lot of good stuff on the Cats, football, basketball. It was just an all-around great show, great atmosphere, great vibe. And as you can see me over here on the far I guess it's my far left over here. You can see me representing the Stay Hot podcast. But I talked to a lot of these people, and I'd say the majority of them hadn't heard of the Stay Hot podcast. My man BC mentioned it a couple of times during the show. The show is on YouTube if you want to go back and watch it. They put the mic in front of my face a couple of times, so I had to speak, and I loved it, enjoyed it. But I think this is the goal for almost every podcast, is to be able to do a live show. And if anybody can do it like Big Mike did yesterday, then it'll be a success, because we had a really great time together. And I hope the next time he does it, I will be able to attend as well. And I hope more people, or not more people, but more. Yeah, I do want more people to attend, but I want, like Big Blue Nation to kind of show out for Big Mike. Just, I think he deserves it. Now, let me go back and look here. Are you sure you're live? I need proof. I'm here. Had such a great time yesterday. Awesome. Yeah, Jake, man, it was a great day. I couldn't help but to I had a long drive home, and not only that, but not only did I catch 71 traffic, also once I got closer to my destination, there was rush hour traffic, and what used to be a 2 hour, 15-minute ride took every bit of 2 hour and 45 minutes, closer to 3 hours, just because of the traffic and the just kind of the slow pace. Shout out to Pepsi. Still waiting on them to contact me for my sponsorship. What's up, Major Frank Burns? Hey, I'm glad you're here, man. Glad you were able to make it. Stop by. Be sure to give us a like and a subscribe for those of you that are new. Sure, it's not Jake from State Farm. I'm alive and doing well. Captain Crash, we've got some BBN royalty in the chat. Yeah, Crash is BBN royalty. He's here every night. He's becoming Stay Hot royalty. I'm going to have to make him a shirt. Oh, yeah, I definitely got the reference. My dad watched MASH growing up, and as growing up as a kid, I didn't care for MASH, didn't like it. But as I've gotten older, I really do like it. Next Nation, NXN. Hey, everyone, we just dropped our National Top 100 2029 class, the first 2029 Top 100 of the nation. Please check it out. Guys, go check it out. You can follow him on Twitter. I think his handle's the same, at NXN or NX Nation, with that I being a 1. I haven't checked out the 29 rankings yet, but I will be sure to do that. Yeah, Holly, he gave away a lot of nice prizes. He really did, and had multiple drawings, 4 or 5 drawings, 4 or 5 winners. It was just a you can get a Stay Hot coffee mug in the store, Brian. Go check out the store. I'll pin the link in there, and you can go check it out. I'll show you how to get there. Absolutely, L's down. I was all by myself watching the show, or I shouldn't say show, but the game. I was watching it all by myself, and I don't know how many times I dropped them down. Icon, good to have you back, brother. It really was good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I haven't seen Mark in a while. I'd like to get him back on here, but I haven't seen him. Yeah, we'll talk about that beating here in a minute. Sacred say, do you think we can pull it off in Freedom Hall? I'll be honest with you. This team is a little bit better than what I expected, but it's not because of their offense. It's because when they locked down defensively there in the second quarter, third quarter, built that 17-point lead. Defense travels. I definitely think we can. I've offered Crash. He likes to stay incognito behind the scenes. I did not get to watch in person. I watched it on Fox, but I enjoyed it. I like watching more in person, just because I like listening to the commentators. I like listening to the announcers. I like listening to what they have to say. Sometimes you can learn a lot from. Um, I'm sorry if you could hear me through the thing. I'm just trying to do multiple things at once here. It's not always easy. But, you know, even I will go watch a game live sometimes. But to be quite honest, I just soon watch it at home on my couch where I can kind of do whatever it is I want to do. I'm trying to find and link, and I should have had all this done before the show, so I apologize. But I just put the link in for the store in the chat, and I'll pin it. I don't know if it pins it to the bottom or the top, but it's pinned now, I think. No, I've never known you to say a lot. I've never known you to have opinions or talk a lot. I really haven't. We'll get you on here though. We will. Let me see. I can't remember who said it. Oh, Brian. Okay, Brian. This is for you, Brian. Once you go to the store or that link. Oh, it's making me remove the picture. All right. Once you go to the store, you have 3 designs there as of now. You click on one of the designs. For example, once you click on the design, it gives you, I think the first option is a shirt. It looks like there's another sale going on for $16. I don't control that. The site does. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there you see featured adult apparel, accessories, and home goods. If you click on home goods, you can see there's a mug. Okay. And you can get that mug in any of the 3 designs that are on there. But if you guys are really feeling, hold on here. If you guys are really feeling really good, you could even lay your head down on a Stay Hot pillow. I could probably make that. I will. I'll work on that. Yeah, I know, Holly. He has no problem talking and giving opinions on you or calling you out, but he don't have any opinions on anything else. He likes when you throw back shots at the TGI Fridays with your friends, and he likes to tell everybody in the Stay Hot chat room that that's what it is that you do. What's up, CDog29? Glad to have you here. If you're new, give us a like and a subscribe. Like I said, I would like to build the subscribers back up. But I wouldn't say build them back up because it's not that I've lost any, but I would like to continue to add more. You know what I'm saying? Because once there's a lot of things that unlock once you get to 1,000 subscribers. A lot of different things that you can add more emojis. You can just do a lot more. And outline the white letters with blue like your background so it all matches because that is your brand. I'm very limited in graphic design, but I'll do my best for you, Icon. Holly's a hot. Whoa. I'm not going to address that with Holly right now at Universal. Holly, are you and Crash married and you're just not telling me? He talks very freely about you, and I think he's got a crush on you. So if he's your fiance, I'm a dead man. Yeah, Icon likes that old school Wildcat over the interlocking UK. Yeah, he does have a nice logo. You may not be now. She may have found somebody else. All right, let me find out what I'm looking for here. And I can't remember who it was, but somebody messaged me earlier asking they didn't get a chance to watch the TBT game today, and they asked if I would show highlights. So if you've seen these already, I apologize. If you watched the game, I apologize. But anytime Kentucky beats Louisville, I could watch these highlights all day long. So, and this is from Kentucky Sports Radio. They did their highlights. If you go to YouTube and type in highlights, you could probably see thousands of different people that had their own highlights. I think TBT even has a channel, and they put their own highlights. But I really wanted to see them from KSR just because Mario probably did these, and it's probably more from a Kentucky fan point of view. So here's the highlights for today's game. You know, if you watched it, you realize that Kentucky got up 17 points in the third quarter, and they ended up fighting for their life in the Elam ending. So definitely a rivalry game, definitely a fun game to watch.
$2 million. Andrew. Kentucky number 2.
That was the very first 2 points of the game right there on the lob to Willie Cauley-Stein. So always nice to see him get involved. I don't know why we need to see any Louisville highlights there, but Andrew Harrison had a really good first half. There's DeAndre Liggins getting out on the fast break. Guys, were you all aware that DeAndre Liggins is 38 years old? Where did time go? DeAndre Liggins is 38 years old and still out there competing at a very high level. It was amazing to watch. You got grown men standing there taking charges. That was James Maynard Bell. This McNeil kid's a stud. He can stroke it. I think he ended up hitting three threes or something.
McNeil out of Union, Kentucky.
Quick release, too.
For everybody. Probably throwing up a lot of shots, too.
Khalil Whitney getting in the action.
Oh, there you go, Khalil. The Dragon.
This is a really great finish and drive by Andrew Harrison, and this is the play that closed out the first half. And Louisville was making a run and had some momentum, so this was a huge play at the time.
Gonna shoot it.
Right after the three. Gets the and one finish. There's the behind the back at a bad angle. And that was kind of in the middle of the UK's big run to go up 17.
Bro, my weak.
Uh-oh.
If White Boy would have yacked it up.
If McNeil would have went up and dunked that, could you imagine the crowd at Memorial? See, they're up 16 with 2 minutes to go in the third. And now look at the score, just 1 minute to go in the fourth. Montrezl Harrell got going in the fourth. That was the difference.
To reach 71 points win. 2-point game. Louisville needs 10. Kentucky needs 8.
This is the Elam ending here, where the first one to reach 71 wins. Montrezl Harrell just the fourth quarter in the Elam ending, he just kind of got going. That was a big bucket from Morsel, Daryl Morsel, Morsel. Good finish by Chris Jones. There was a technical on the Louisville bench. That was a big free throw.
You don't have to. Yeah.
That was that James Maynard Bell with the floater.
Timeout Louisville.
And honestly, that shot right there put them within 1 point of the 71. So that was a big shot. But the technical on Louisville came from the bench. And I think it was actually maybe Russ Smith. Russ made a few shots early, but he was out of shape and shot a long, deep air ball late in the game. Just Russ Diculous had a rough day. That was a big shot. Ooh. Both teams had like 3 possessions at 70-68 to do something. This was the 3 to win it, guys. That was the 3 to win it. Then he gets back and hustles and makes a nice block.
No timeout. I think your team's out. Are they out of timeouts? Everybody is. Yeah.
Watch Harold jump this, I believe, is what well they don't show it. No, he kind of moved up the lane. And honestly, that was after to be quite honest with you, after the 16-point lead evaporated in a matter of about 3 minutes, I was really worried about how they were going to who was going to finish, I guess, the game. And, you know, they was 70-68. Louisville missed the 3 from Harrell. I think they had another guy that drove the baseline and tried to get a 2 that was blocked from the weak side. Both teams had like 3 chances to win the game or do something. And finally, on the out-of-bounds play, Daryl Morsell or Morsell, I don't know how you pronounce it, but he kind of misdirection on the cut there and got the dunk to finish it. But Willie Cauley-Stein did come down on somebody's ankle, I think, and he sat out most of the third and all of the fourth. John Hood has not said about his availability for Monday, although he did say, or he led to believe, that Marcus Lee and Archie Goodwin would both be back on Monday, which, today I really thought that UK played small ball really well. Montrezl Harrell struggled in the first half. He didn't get going to the fourth quarter. But, you need somebody size like Willie Cauley or Marcus Lee just on the rebounding side, because there was a stretch in the first half when Louisville was staying close was just because their offensive rebounding. So I don't know about Willie Cauley's sign status for Monday, but because he sat out all the third and the fourth, I would think it may be hurting worse than we expected. I was getting ready to say this, and I saw C-Dog put it in the chat. We'll probably hear something more likely tomorrow. But it is Crash get nervous. Holly was mad. I think it's the same foot he hurt when he played at Kentucky. However, and we know that foot caused him some problems. We are going to have Marcus Lee on Monday, supposedly. I thought we were having him today, honestly. Then I noticed he wasn't on the bench. We only had 8 players today. John Hood did a really good job of getting breaks when he could and kind of maximizing the rotation, everybody getting breaks. But so I thought Hood did a really good job. Hopefully Marcus Lee soccer game today was crazy. England and France in the third place game. The final score was 6-4. England beat France. So France came into the World Cup as one of the favorites and finishes in fourth place. I'm not for sure how intense they played today or what kind of effort they gave. I'm sorry, I was looking up to see the Fever score. The Fever were down 10 or 12 early, and now they're up 16. So not real sure how that's happened, but a lot of made shots from somebody and not a lot of made shots from the Liberty. But yeah, 6-4 was the final. England won. I don't know if I've ever seen a soccer game that scored 10 combined goals that I've watched with my own 2 eyes. It's usually 1-0, 2-1. But all honesty, I'll probably watch the finals tomorrow because of Messi. I hope Messi gets the opportunity to go out on top. But I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of lost interest once the USA lost. Yeah, Khalil Whitney made a very good bounce pass that kind of led him to the basket for the dunk. If we would have made free throws, if we would have played smarter, we should have won by 15 plus easily. I agree with that statement. But it was kind of just kind of an overall strange game to watch because we dominated for a 10-minute stretch to get up 16 or 17. Then it seems like everything we did to get that 17-point lead, 16-point lead, whatever, we totally quit doing for a 6 or 7 minute stretch to allow Louisville to get some momentum, and then they started making some shots. Louisville started out like 3 of 15 from 3, and we were 6 of 10 from 3, maybe 7 of 12 from 3. We started out shooting the ball really, really well. Like I said, Andrew Harrison played a really good first half, and as equally good first half as he played. He had some moments in the second half where he dribbled it off his foot, dribbled it between traffic, threw the ball away. But it looked like one of those old Kentucky games with Cal to where you get a big lead, and then you just kind of play the clock to run and kind of stall the ball and not really look for the good shot, just kind of dribble it out. Then with 2 or 3 seconds on the shot clock, then you throw up or heave some desperation look and kind of look like one of Cal's old teams in that stretch. But it was a really good game. Keegan Brown, yeah, go check out the interview with Keegan Brown on Cattykin. I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. I did. Hope you get a chance to watch it. Yeah, I would say, part of that is Willie Cauley-Stein's just, he's probably 35, 36 years old too. He just doesn't bounce back as quick as what he once did. Willie Cauley, only 32. I would have said he's a little bit older than that. Yeah, there was a lot of people that, and this kind of talks a little bit, I'm on here a lot talking about the Kentucky fan base, Big Blue Nation. When I talk about that, a lot of that is their online behavior and how they act or react. They're going to be really put to the test the next couple of days because although Ryan Hampton led or was second in the Peach Jam in scoring, he had a really bad game today of 4 shots, turnovers, only scored 6 points. We're really going to probably see how well BBN reacts. I've already seen some comments from people saying that he's not good enough to be at Kentucky. The only reason there is because he really likes Kentucky and wants to play for Kentucky. He's not good enough to play there. He's a 5-star guard playing in the Peach Jam. I don't believe any of that stuff. That's just – but, today's game at the he is not. I'm not 100% sure why, but he is not. But the one thing that I guess I should say or kind of, call out BBN for this time is a lot more positive just because, in July in Memorial Coliseum, they literally filled that place up. It was a sold-out crowd, and those people were chanting, "Go Big Blue." They chanted CATS, 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 cats. They were real loud. They were real from the start, from the tip of the game. It was just absolutely electric in there. And you could see that the energy of the fans in the crowd, the electricity, the energy, the overall atmosphere really gave the Cats a boost a lot in the game. And, you saw a lot of the players kind of reacting to the crowd. A couple times, I saw Andrew Harrison trying to get the crowd up. He reacted to the crowd on several big shot attempts that he made or somebody else made. So it was just a great atmosphere. And I think it's supposed to be a maybe a whiteout Monday night. Monday night's game 2. It is in Louisville. If you got tickets for that or you plan on getting tickets for that, they're encouraging you to wear white. I believe. I think I saw that. I know they wore white today, so I don't know if they're wearing white again. I would think they'd probably wear blue or a dark color because they're going to be on the road. But, I'm sure that'll come out in the next, maybe tomorrow as well, or maybe Monday afternoon on what they want people to wear. Ansley played last year. So I'm not 100% sure what it is. I don't know if maybe, one of the things they talked about was Malik Williams, I think, for Louisville, got there kind of maybe at the first media timeout of the first half because he just had got in on an airplane. He played in the summer league last week for the Bulls, I believe, and he was late getting there. His brother picked him up from the airport and drove him straight to Lexington for that game. So he got there kind of late in the first half, or the game had already started, but he came in and played. He didn't really do a whole lot, but he played in the summer league last week. So I would definitely like to see some of these younger guys get with BBN. Caitlin Clark has caught fire from 3. She put up 45 and 10 last night. I got to watch that one. That was an unbelievable performance. So, yeah, I don't know. They've changed it to Sacred. They've kind of changed it a lot to like a 2 different sides of the bracket. One bracket has alumni teams. Another bracket has, I guess just like whoever they wanted. Ryan Hampton had a really bad game today at the Peach Jam, and his team got beat in the semifinals, I believe. And just a lot of people saying he's not good enough to be at Kentucky. He had a bad game. Just the nonsense you hear BBN say. But he's currently right now our best recruit in the 27 class, but he's not going to be. You know, Paul Osuriuri or something. He's the center, 5-star. We've locked up an official visit with him, which is big news. I know the 3 guys that Pope liked were Rosser, Spears, and this Paul guy. So, you know, but like Holly said, and I saw Crash's comment, which, you know, his sarcasm, which I love. But, you know, she said she thought it was very idiotic for anybody to judge a player on one game. And that's right. You don't earn your 5-star ranking after one game. You certainly don't lose it after one game. So that's nonsense to just nonsense all the way around to put out that kind of stuff. And I did see somebody comment, you know, whatever it is you do or however it is you feel, don't be tweeting at the kid, his family, or whatever. You know, just, you know. So hopefully, and not only are they humans, Amy, these kids are 17, 18 years old. They're nowhere near the best they're going to be, you know. So hopefully, absolutely. I definitely think Pope, you know, what he did in the portal this year, already signing a 5-star for next year. Mo Williams was there watching every game from Hampton. They watched a lot of guys at the Peach Jam. Mark Pope was also going back and forth between the 3SB event. I know they've had people at Beckham Black's games. It's just, you know, we said this in April when Kentucky wasn't signing guys out of the portal. Just let's let Pope cook. All right, let's let him cook. But even it doesn't matter who it is. Even the best players in the world have, you know, LeBron has bad games. Curry has bad games. Wemby has bad games. Spurs had a bad series. You know, it happens. Yeah, but it's hard to tell. I agree with that to somewhat, Peanut, but it's also hard to tell if they are when they have a UK logo, BBN in their profile. It is kind of hard to tell, but there is a guy out there that claims to be BBN. His name's Jackie Taylor on Twitter. I'm sure you guys have seen him. He doesn't really criticize Kentucky, but he's all over Mark Pope on everything Pope does. Beckham Black, did I say something different? I'm sorry if I did. They're obviously not Major Frank. You know, when you're human, you have bad days, you have bad games, you have bad shows, you have bad – it's just, you know, it's part of being human. And I'm not going to put too much stock into what Ryan Hampton did today in the Peach Jam and what his future entails as a Kentucky Wildcat. There's so much growth and development that will happen between now and then. Once the season's over in the Peach Jam, that's when he really starts getting to work. So, all right. But, you know, just some things I noticed today. I told you Andrew Harrison had a really good first half. He was kind of the shoulders that kind of carried them in the first half, whether it be with his defense, his passing, his shooting, his finishing ability. He got to the free throw line several times. In the second half, when I think Louisville got their technical, there is no 1-and-1 in the TBT. He got one free throw, and then they got the ball back, and that was during the Elam ending when he got the free throw, so that was a big make. Khalil Whitney had stretches that he'll be ready to take over. Once he got going, he got huge rebounds. Kentucky was undersized. Montrezl Harrell was controlling the glass. Whitney got a lot of good rebounds, pushed the ball in transition, just played good team basketball. And Khalil Whitney is one of those guys that have moved back to Lexington. He likes Lexington. He cares about Lexington. He's kind of like, I know he left Kentucky after a year or so, but I'm glad he's had the opportunity to come back in the TBT so he could really allow us the opportunity to root for him, cheer for him, and, make him a permanent member of the Big Blue Nation. Guys, if you didn't get a chance to watch this show or watch the game, and you get a chance to go back and watch it, watch DeAndre Liggins still play defense at 38 years of age. He still got it. He still got it. He shut off the paint on dribble penetration single-handedly. The man can flat out still play defense. And what I like about Liggins is he doesn't really shoot many shots. He doesn't force a lot of shots. He just kind of, plays his game. And, that's the kind of guys that Kentucky needs on this team, guys that are willing to play defense, that want to play defense. And DeAndre Liggins, man, I was worried about, once I knew we weren't going to have Archie, and once I knew that we probably were going to be, I didn't know we was going to be without Marcus until the game started. But once I saw that he wasn't there or wasn't going to be there, then I got really nervous about how many minutes DeAndre had to play. But there was a stretch there in the second quarter that, I was glad we had him on the floor, because he's a one-man wrecking crew on the defensive side of the ball. And then Willie Cauley-Stein only scored 2 points. Of course, we talked about how he got hurt there in the third quarter and sat out the rest of the game. But the one thing I want to tell you, he's the heart and soul of Big Blue Nation. Heart and soul of, the La Familia team. He got the largest ovation in the crowd at starting lineups. He's going to be a fan favorite forever. And when he moves back to Lexington, he's going to be a celebrity. He's going to be known everywhere he goes. And I was happy for Willie Cauley-Stein and what he was able to do today. But the big story, honestly, and it didn't take the Louisville fans long to point this out. It didn't take the Louisville fans long. I mean, as soon as the game was over, I already saw it being posted. I saw Kentucky fans predicting that this would be the comment, but they already said that Kentucky had to rely on non-Kentucky players to beat them. They kept calling non-Cats. Kentucky had to rely on the non-Cats to beat the Louisville TBT team. And, which Louisville's got to make excuses 100% for anytime Kentucky beats them. But I think we found out yesterday at Big Mike's show, they had a question. They were asking about, I think, Kentucky and Louisville have played like 34, 35 times, and Kentucky's won like 23 of them. I didn't realize the advantage was that so much, but it's getting to the point right now. Let me ask you this. Is that even a rivalry anymore? If you've won 23 out of 36 or 7, is that even a rivalry? Obviously, we're not going to get all those guys, but if we could get Rosser and Black, I'd be happy. No one has said where Marcus Lee was, and nobody has really said where Justin McBride is, other than he's sick. He is moving to Lexington, but you're right, is wild. But that's a small portion of the Big Blue fan base. It does. And when you're that young, you're going to have those. And Acuff looked very bad in the game I watched at the NBA Summer League. He struggled at his size, getting to the rim and finishing around the big guys. Well, especially at the Peach Jam. And I don't know who's on his team or what other players are around him. But they game planned against Hampton. And not only that, but they also probably where he signed with Kentucky, knowing Kentucky's in the house. They probably played with a little extra motivation. While Kentucky may be there to watch Hampton, they're also getting to see everybody else too, and I know that can be some motivation. Sheway was there. Sheway sat right behind the bench. Deron Lamb is a coach on the bench. I saw Lamb. I thought for a moment they were going to have to check him in. But Sheway was there. Loserville excuses. Sounds like what a loser. Yeah, they were already getting that. Once Ryan McNeil hit those 3 threes in the first half, and, it was very late in the game. Andrew Harrison didn't handle the ball at the point as much. They gave it to that Daryl Morcell from Villanova, and he did a lot of the penetrating driving. He was hard to keep out of the paint. So, once you saw those two guys having their way, you kind of figured Louisville would have an excuse. You don't need to see much more than 4 minutes, I can tell you. I can tell you what college coaches tell me when they mention game film. And that's what I remember me, Peanut. Just go ahead and start calling me Keegan Brown. When you guys asked me that about Momcilovic or Stokes, I said I'd much rather have a proven Momcilovic than a freshman Stokes, because I still believe that Stokes is going to have growing pains. I believe that. Hey, there is no late, John Boy. You're here just in time. Make sure you like and subscribe on your way in. But we're glad to have you. But I will say this, and I thought John Hood did a really good job coaching them. I thought his substitutions were good. I thought he managed the game well. I thought he, had the right guys in at the right time. I may have had McNeil in there at the end just because of his ability to make shots, but McNeil maybe not been able to defend. And we were struggling on that end, so he kept his defensive lineup in the game, which I really liked. And he knew that he didn't have Willie Cauley those last quarter and a half due to an injury. So let's just hope Willie Cauley, and I know this about Willie Cauley and his love for Big Blue Nation. If he's able to go Monday night, he will go. It may not be forever, or he may not play longer than a few minutes at a time or whatever. But Willie Cauley-Stein, like I said, he's the heart and soul of Big Blue Nation. And he got the largest ovation in the lineups. And the moment he steps on the floor and takes the floor, everybody that's in that game that's a Kentucky fan is going to go crazy. They're going to jump out of their seat. They're going to go nuts. So shout out to Willie Cauley for that effort. Yeah, and I saw where you said Indiana's going another wild game. They beat somebody. Who they beat last night? They beat somebody, Seattle last night and New York tonight. It makes them 16-10, the Fever. So looks like they might be catching fire. I know Kelsey Mitchell started out a little rough today, but she's finished with 33 points. She's had like 11 or 12 straight games over 20. I think Caitlin had 17 and 7 maybe, but I know she didn't score a lot the first half. So she's really turned it on here in the second. Sean Woods is in federal prison. I didn't know if he'd left yet. Is he roommates with Kerr Kriisa? I'm not sure. I think they play 40-some regular season games this year, John Boy. The All-Star Games is right around the corner, and this is their 26th game, so they still probably have 18 to 20 regular season games before the playoffs. So, but I just remember reading that the Fever is the only team that has all 44 games televised. So, which we know why that is. All right, we got Sean Woods and Kirk Kriisa as bunk bros. I did see where the Federal Medical Center in Lexington is now housing the Tiger King, Joseph Maldonado. Clyde, how many accounts you got, dog? I appreciate it. I appreciate you subscribing with all of them. I really do. Clyde's got more burner accounts than – remember, be sure to like the show if you're new. If you're really, really new, be sure to subscribe as well. I think he does, honestly. But, I did get the odds. It seems like Kriisa and Woods are the favorite to win the 2-on-2 tournament that's taking place. So if you can find that on DraftKings or FanDuel, go ahead and get your bets in early. Kriisa and Woods are the odds-on favorite to win that. But like I was saying a while ago, I get distracted. You know, somebody asked me last show or whatever if I had ADHD, and the answer is 100% yes. I know you are. I appreciate that. But to be honest, you know, talking about John Hood, he got a very big 3-point shot out of a timeout in the first half that Kentucky made. And then that last play there, I don't know if that was the exact play he drew up or he put Morcell in a reading position to where he could read to go out or read to curl. And well, I guess when Montrezl Harrell stepped up into the lane, he read that, stepped up in the lane, he curled that and got an easy dunk. So regardless of the situation, anything like that makes the coach look good. So John Boy, we've already talked about. I don't know what our chances are for Rosser and Diggs. I like our I know Duke is very big on Rosser too, so they're going to be going hard at him. I just know Kentucky's offered several people since being down there this week. I know that Kentucky is they're everywhere, watching everybody. Mark Pope truly doesn't sleep. He's out recruiting. I mean, he's everywhere. And I'm seeing people comment. You know, I even saw a Big Blue Nation fan apologize to Pope for doubting him because he truly is everywhere when it comes to recruiting. Like, he was going back and forth between Texas, South Carolina. He was everywhere this week. So shout out to him. I work on their lab equipment at FMC. It's placed basically a nursing home with bars. Yeah. I figured, yeah, but I know Tiger King is sick. I don't know exactly what's wrong with him. I guess it's probably cancer, but I can't say that 100% sure. But Coach Hood has worked for several teams since graduating at Kentucky, so I'm sure along the way somewhere he's picked something up. I didn't see them run the out-of-bounds offense that Cal used to run, to where you would post on the three-point line and throw your hand up, you know, kind of get your hand up like this and have the inbounder kind of throw it over top and go. Something else before I forget, you know, while we got several on, this right here is the schedule for the mega podcast that BBN Unfiltered's doing. It is starting Tuesday at 9:30, and you see the three guys that are going to be on there. Big Mike from Loyal BBN Fan Show. He's doing it Tuesday night because he is leaving Wednesday to head to Qatar. Then they got Catch Chat and Bluegrass State of Mind. Those were two podcasts that I really wasn't familiar with. But I did look them both up on Twitter. They both have shows, whatever, so I've started following them. Two more shows I can add to my timeline I want to look at. Wednesday is I'm going to be on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, Stay Hot podcast with Heavy Pour Sports. That's kind of the podcast that does the Border Rivals. Rando, I believe, does some with Tennessee fans, and there's several other people on there. I think there's like 4 guys that are on there. And sometimes I think Serena from Heavy Pour Sports, she's on there as well. They do a really, really good job. I really enjoy their show. And then ARC 360, of course, is Perry Stevenson as well as AJ Stewart. So I'm very excited to be on with those guys. Two sports podcasts that I look up to and watch. So glad to be able to do it with them. And then Thursday, if you're interested in Thursday night at 9, you got Chris Adams, the Quest for 9 podcast, Wildcat Zone, and Quincy Kreitzer. He's doing Bluegrass Huddle. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll leave that schedule up there for you to look at. Very, very few times, Major Frank, but I think I do remember a couple of times where people would slip and get dunks at the basket, but I'd say 9 out of 10 or 98 out of 100, he's probably just lobbed it into the wing and took it to the top from there. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant when you said, where did he learn that from? Shout out to Rando. Listen, I love their show. I was actually going to move my show back a little bit, but I got to, because they had one at 9 o'clock today, but they had to cancel. They're going tomorrow night. So I probably won't do one tomorrow night since I done one tonight. I'm not trying to cross shows to where we're stealing each other's audiences. So I'm definitely going to probably not do one tomorrow and let them have the space. No, Peanut. And listen, I've messaged them. I've replied to them several times. I don't know if they've picked anybody to do it yet, or if they've just kind of announced it, but they weren't ready to do it yet or whatever. But I've filled out a form and I've put my name in the hat with State Line, no pun intended. Yeah, Major Frank, like I said, I did see one, but if you're looking at 100 plays from the out of bounds side, say 98 of them, there weren't a play. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with them, but I've now following them on Twitter, so I'm going to start definitely paying attention to those guys. I want to see as many UK fans as I can. You know, you learn so much just from watching other people who have done it long before you, I should say. You know what I'm saying? And these guys have come long before me. Give me their information. I'll talk to them. I reached out to Stephen Peak today. I was trying to get Stephen on tonight, but he had something to do tonight. So I think they had concert tickets. So I'm going to reach out to him again another time and get him on. I think it'll probably be streamed on BBN Unfiltered. I'm not calling them unfaithful, BBN Unfiltered. But I think there's a way that I can stream it on my site, on my show too. So I'm going to try to figure it out because I don't really know, but I have heard of people saying lately that you can stream it on both channels, the same show on both channels. It's something new through YouTube. So I'm going to look that up. Yeah, John Hood did a good job coaching. Which podcast? The Mega Unfiltered? Are one of those guys State of Mind that I'm just trying to figure out who these people are. I don't know. Bluegrass State of Mind, I guess. Is that? Oh, no, that's State Line. I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, that's kind of what I saw too. But, you know, he was in Lexington last night, I believe. Or maybe Friday or Thursday when we had our show, I think he had posted that he was in Lexington. But, you know, and it was scheduling conflicts with heavy pour of the State Line guy. Oh, awesome. Yeah, cool. Maybe they just didn't want me to be a brand ambassador. I don't know. But I would say that's probably AI right now. I'm not saying that they haven't bought some of the hats because these guys do. I mean, their hats are remarkable. And I don't know if they do any other apparel. I've only seen or mainly focused on the hats. And I don't wear hats much, but I'm probably going to buy one of their hats just because I really like the designs of them. And Drew Franklin's hat game's always on point. And I know Drew really likes the State Line, you know, brand or apparel or however you want to look at it. So, which, you know, but I really thought this BBN Unfiltered mega podcast, I really like what he's got going here. I really like the fact that, you know, he's trying to get all of us together in one spot. It allows you to connect. It allows you to kind of build your brand as well. And kind of get you out there. There may be some people that follow BBN Unfiltered that don't necessarily watch the Stay Hot podcast. So I'm definitely going to try and always promote my brand, but also give credit where it's due with the others. So, but it was kind of neat though. When I wore my Stay Hot shirt yesterday, I got a lot of compliments on it. And of course that always makes you feel good. I may have sold one or two from there. So that's always nice. But, you know, if you don't want to support the show by being a member, a super chat, donation or whatever, you can always shop from the store. And I've got it linked to the chat at the bottom. So if you want a shirt, hat, mug, hoodie. They're all there. I've got 3 different designs that you can choose from. I'm going to be putting up more designs kind of, once I get a chance to sit down and actually do the artwork. It takes a little bit of time to do that. But yeah, I'm excited about that. So good. I'm glad Mario's saying that. He was there. He probably saw him walking afterwards. I would have thought though, if he had just what's it called? Like when you, or tweaked it, if he would have just tweaked his ankle, I thought maybe playing on it would have probably, maybe helped keep it loose, but, I know he'll go if he can. No doubt about that. No, I think we need Goodwin. Goodwin's offensive minded, and when Louisville made their comeback, we struggled and had trouble creating our own baskets and getting our own shots, and that's something Archie's really good at, and Archie was really good offensively last year. I definitely think we need both, and hope both are able to go, as well as Willie Colley. It makes our depth that much more important. So it'll be great to have them both. I saw Trent Noah on a religious podcast wearing a State Line. Listen, State Line is huge right now, and I saw where State Line's also trying to get the what's it called? The license of other universities to where they can produce hats for them as well. I think I saw them maybe producing or maybe making a Tennessee hat of some kind. So it might be something that that's just going to make them grow even more and make them even bigger. If they can produce the licenses, or not produce them, but if they can receive the licenses of Louisville, Tennessee, Ohio State, maybe any of those schools around us, other SEC schools, to where they could sell and get their online store going, they're going to be wealthy. I think they've got a really good thing going, and I'm happy to support them. Even then, Crash. Yeah, he does. And he gave him some good minutes today. I knew that very first play out of the gate when they lobbed it to him that might be all he had in the tank, but he still gave him a few minutes, a few big rebounds. But, he still moved pretty good for his age and some of the injuries he's had. So, definitely so. Definitely so. Definitely so. I just started with the ops because that's who we talked about a lot when I first got this show going. The first few people I talked about was, Stokes' decision was very big. There were several shows I did on Stokes that got a lot of views and things of that nature. So I just started out with that route. I've had 2 people reach out to me wanting to know if they could buy all 5 of the cards. So that's probably something I'm going to do in the near future. It's just something different. A lot of people that like trading cards and are fans of Stay Hot have really liked the whole card idea. So I thought it was kind of neat too. There's Puke and Pat, and it's just, from our generation, a lot of you guys that watch, a lot of us collected cards, and and there's the Con John of the John Calipari. But yeah, I'm going to do a lot with. This will probably, unless something comes up during the season with somebody that really strikes me as somebody I don't really like, I'll probably just do one series of the ops and then focus on other things. You never know. I might pull that up. Willie Cauley-Stein is Montrez's father. Is that what you're saying? Holly, I agree with this 100% sure, but there was actually a big name guy in Kentucky media, and I can't remember who it was. I don't want to say a name because I don't remember, but they actually didn't like the Elam ending, and they were having discussions about it on X. And I really do like it because it makes you have to make a basket to win the game. You can't just salt the clock away. You can't just wait for them to foul you. You've got to make a basket. And now it can be a free throw if you're close enough to the Elam ending. But I can tell you this, they didn't call many thousand the Elam ending whatsoever. It got physical. Physical. Stay hostile. Yeah, right. I'm just a figment of a lot of people's imagination. I don't know, man. I honestly, I was I was sitting at home on Facebook one day, and there was a Garbage Pail Kid ad that came out, and I clicked on it, and I could see a lot of the old Garbage Pail Kids that I remember collecting. And I started researching, like, what kind of trouble can you get in? Can you make Garbage Pail Kids? And then I realized that you had to try to make it your own. Like, if Garbage Pails saw this and they tried to sue me, they probably could, just because of just the whole Con John picture. You know, I've made the title different. I made the name thing different stuff, but just because it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it resembles it. And they've probably got it all trademarked or whatever. I'm just 100% sure that I'm such a little man that they're probably not going to pay any attention to me, and that I will probably plead ignorance as opposed to, you know, admitting where I was wrong. But I absolutely love it. Like I said, I got 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 that I've started making, and then I'll have a series of 1 to 10. But the 2 guys that reach out to me, they offered me $20 for 5 cards. So I took that deal, and I'll get those mailed out to them. Probably, what is today? Saturday, probably Monday. So I really enjoyed it. Well, and the reason I did it was because it was putting a, you know, and I bought the Con John shirt. I showed it to you all the other day. But the reason I did that was just because it kind of portrays him in a like Con John. It had promises and excuses on his briefcase. All those things that we heard from Coach Cal over the years. Then he had the stacks of money, and he ripping up the lifetime contract. You know, just I thought it was kind of portraying him in an anti-BBN light, so that's why I went with it. I collected every type of card, man. I collected Garbage Pail Kid cards. I collected baseball, football, basketball. I had the old, do you remember the old sticker books where you could buy the book and then you could buy the stickers and you could put the stickers in? You know what I'm talking about? There's like the stickers were really little, but each page would be a different team. Like one page would be the Reds team, and you could buy a pack of stickers. I think they came in 20 stickers, and you could open them and say you got a Mario Soto sticker. You would go over to the the Reds page, and you could put Mario sticker there. There was several summers that me and my brother worked very hard. I remember collecting pop cans, things like that. Parents giving us money left and right to buy stickers. To, you know, and we filled up a sticker book or two, but it was like anything else. Anything else being that they don't really sell every card in abundance or every sticker in abundance. You know what I'm saying? Like the Monopoly game. You almost had to go to another state. I know, I can't remember. There's a documentary on the McDonald's game, but Monopoly game that somebody cheated it somehow or another. But, you know, they didn't sell Park Place and Boardwalk everywhere, because if you got both of those, it was $1 million. So, you know, that Pope on a beach shirt. Yeah, that would. I don't know how I can go about using that picture without their permission. I don't know if it's free to use that picture because it's on Twitter. I don't really know how all that works. But if I could, I would definitely, I might be able to make it my own by just that picture, making it the same format or layout of the Garbage Pail or the Stay Hot Ops cards that I've made. So make Pope kind of look animated or cartoon like that. I could probably do that. Yeah, I could produce an AI produced image. I can do that. I definitely felt like the J and K had a significance, but I didn't really know what they were. He says they did. I thought maybe King for Momchilovich, but I don't know what the Jack would stand for. The J and King. Just kidding. I don't know. Send it to him. Send him the link to the store and tell him to buy a Con John shirt. I don't know Chris Adams. I still haven't seen his show. It still hasn't popped up on my timeline YouTube, nor has it popped up on Facebook anymore. I saw it that one time on Facebook, and I listened to just a few minutes of it. And to be quite honest, a few minutes was a lot of Kentucky hate. So I didn't really watch a lot of it. But if I don't mind negativity in a podcast if they're pointing out what they feel to be true. But if you're just being negative to be negative, like right now, Mark Pope has done nothing the last month for anybody to be negative towards him. Yes, Marcus Spears went to Texas, but I don't think that's on Mark Pope. He had a sister who plays volleyball at Texas. It was obvious that Texas was a front runner from the start. He reclasses and he commits to Texas. Not every miss is a whiff, or not every miss is a Mark Pope, something you can blame on the coach. And I've said that before, but there's still a lot of people out there that seem to believe that, Mark Pope, whiffs on everybody. And I'll tell you how bad it was. Yeah, that's an awesome picture. It really is. I remember that game, and that was a fun game. And that's pretty good size. But it's like, all right. Yeah. Let me get you the link. And where did I send it that, where did I send it last time, BBN Unfiltered? I know I sent it to Twitter. Did I send it to an email address? I don't remember. I'll probably send it to the Twitter where we've been commenting. Check the Twitter where we've been discussing stuff back and forth. That's what I'm saying. You know what? And here's the thing that got me this week. When Jamal Crawford announced that, just right now wasn't the right time to hold on, hit the wrong button. When Jamal Crawford said that right now wasn't the right time for him to coach, there was people out there saying that Pope whiffed on Crawford, Pope whiffs again, whatever. Not having a solid candidate to pivot to from Crawford, I think, is a legit criticism. You can have different takes on it, but it's a legit criticism. I could get behind that maybe. However, how do you know the guy that he's got doing the work right now is not a legit candidate? He doesn't have to be a former NBA champion, 6th man of the year. Doesn't have to, you know what I'm saying? Good. But, I can see what you're saying, but I don't know with this new guy that they've talked about. I don't know if he's legit or if he's not. But I can honestly see, what you're saying. Who do you have in mind, Crash? Who do you think would be somebody that would be, oh, yeah, okay. I mean, I see it, but do you got anybody in mind? Like, I'm not asking if you've heard of anybody that they're thinking about, because I think they found their replacement, but, who would you like to see? Need to watch those guys. Afio, Alston does a really good job, and he's got a coach on there with him. And they did a live show yesterday in Georgetown that I was going to try to make, but going from Louisville to Georgetown after when that one ended, I just couldn't make two places at once. So the next time that BBN Unfiltered is live, I'm going to try to make theirs. It's just something about a live show. Something about a live show that I think that I like the atmosphere. So hopefully the next time that BBN Unfiltered goes live, I'll be able to attend. I couldn't make it from Louisville to Georgetown in time. But Austin, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
We were just talking a little bit about the TBT. I put up the schedule for your mega podcast. No, I didn't go. I watched on Fox. Did you
Okay.
go?
I did.
All right,
Yeah.
I want to get your opinion on that in a minute, but
Okay.
I just want to know anything you want to say about this. I put this up a little bit earlier, just trying to just let everybody know who was coming on and what days they were coming on. Just trying to get the schedule out there so we get as many people as possible to join.
Yeah. So for sure, it is going to happen now. And I was talking to my co-host earlier this morning on our way to the game. If for whatever reason La Familia loses on Monday, then the Wednesday slate will probably be pushed back, obviously, because then they'll play on Wednesday.
When there actually another day besides Wednesday would work the best for me, but
Yeah.
I can make 8 o'clock work. But if they don't win, I could understand why that would be pushed back, and I'd be willing to join whatever.
Sure.
Push
Yeah.
back to.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, if they play, then no one's going to watch our show. So we'll see what happens on Monday. But for sure, Tuesday is going to happen. That's pretty much set. And that slate is set up to be the Loyal BBN Fan Show, Cats Chat, and the Bluegrass State of Mind podcast. So that will be the first day slate to kick everything off.
I spoke to Big Mike yesterday, and he was excited about it. He loved the idea of it. He's excited to be able to do this one on Tuesday because he leaves for Qatar on Wednesday.
Okay.
So he was. I mean, I brought it up to him, and we talked for a good 10 or 15 minutes, just talking about the excitement of being able to get kind of like all the Kentucky shows, not all of them, but a lot
not
of
all of them, but
in the same place at one time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's kind of
in an environment that's never really been done before. And really, it's kind of my attempt to change the narrative of, hey, we're all competitors and we can't like each other.
Right. Yeah.
But we're all voting. We're all cheering for the same team, right? We're all blue and white. We can still promote each other's shows and get along. Yeah, it's still a competition, but at the same time, why not?
Right. And I've Heavy Pour. They reached out to me when I put out the show today saying that they were going to go live at 9 o'clock. Well, I was actually going to push mine back because I'm not trying to, cross any other podcast or whatever. And they actually came back and said, no, they had to move theirs back. But, so I went ahead and did it today. They had to postpone theirs. But yeah, I agree with that 100%. I don't think that anybody needs to, and it's all right to, watch other shows to get ideas and to, learn things from. I'm new at this. A lot of you guys have been doing this a hell of a lot longer.
I've only been doing this for 6 months.
Well, I did some high school shows last couple of years, but I've learned I didn't really have StreamYard then. It was basically just going live from YouTube, and cameras sucked. I mean, the content, I had a guy that was really knowledgeable about high school basketball in the 9th and 10th regions, and he pretty well carried the show. It was just MySpace and but yeah,
MySpace.
Ooh,
throwback.
Do you remember when Tom was everybody's number one fan?
Tom, that was the most popular picture on the internet.
Yeah, he had that thumbs up or whatever. So tell me about the atmosphere.
White t-shirt. Yeah.
Because from the TV, it was it seemed like it was a sold out, great atmosphere. BBN showed up. So tell us how it was inside the building.
They showed up. They absolutely showed up. We were trying to find parking, number one, and I was like, man, it's going to be packed in there. And it was. We walked in. I mean, really the only spots in the arena were the upper corners that were empty. Everywhere else was filled from side to side. Every seat was filled. On the floor, completely filled. You could just feel the buzz before the game, during the game, at halftime. It was good. I mean, it was really for a noon game. I think for some people it could have been hard to get up and get going right at noon. It was for me, for what it's worth. But no, it was a really good environment.
Noon on a Saturday after a Friday night could be rough. Might have been rough for Willie Cauley-Stein for all I know. Who knows what he did last night?
I got to say, I mean, I'd say it was. It was definitely rough for me and Coach because we did a remote yesterday here in Georgetown at Chinkapin Brewing, and he came and stayed with me, and we were up till 3 a.m. last night. So we got up this morning, we were like, dude, we got to drive through Starbucks, get some coffee, we got to get going somehow. So
I really thought that they would miss Archie Goodwin just for his ability to create shots, kind of be able to get his own. And it seemed like, of course, they did struggle some offensively in spurts, but how did you feel like this performance was for what you expected going into it?
I was impressed. You know who impressed me the most?
I'm telling you, DeAndre Liggins impressed me, man. 38 years old, still moving like that.
Oh, 100%. To be 38 and to be able to move like that and still feel the flow of the game and to be in the incredible shape he's in, 1,000%, I agree. Aside from that, I mean, honestly, Sean McNeil was really impressive to me.
Could stroke it, man.
And what pissed me off towards
when he wasn't in at the end?
Well, in the beginning of the fourth quarter, for whatever reason, John Hood kept on telling him to go to the corner and just stand. I looked over at Coach. I was like, why is he just standing there? There's no screens. There's no curl. There's no flex. He's just standing. I mean, I get he's trying to create space, right? But you got a shooter like that who lit it up in the first half, who played really well, and then he's just going to stand there in the corner.
And if a lot of the shots he made were coming off ball handoffs or off screens, like on the move.
And then they just stopped doing it for some reason. Why?
And I don't know. I mentioned earlier that I thought maybe Pope took him out in the fourth for defensive purposes, but it kind of reminded me of like some of Calipari's years to where they'd have a lead late and they would just hold the ball or dribble out for 30. And Andrew Harrison was the worst at it at college, and he showed glimpses this year. It
crumbled because there was no movement. There was a guy dribbling up top, and then you got four corners standing.
That's exactly what I said.
Unless you got Jamal Murray, De'Aaron Fox, John Wall, you got pros like that, they can create their own shot. But a traditional college offense needs movement and screens and rotations and relocations to get good shots.
And I don't know what it is, but I've seen it not just in Kentucky, but I've seen it in the NBA, WNBA. I've seen it at college, high school. But, like, Kentucky did so well defensively and offensively to build up that 17-point lead, like probably a minute or two from running them out of the gym.
Yeah.
Then it's like everything they did to get that lead, they quit. They stopped. And next thing you know,
three that Andrew Harrison missed.
That would have erupted.
Turn around, the VIlle hit a 3, 6-point swing. I said that was our chance to blow it out. And I mean, it was a good shot. It rimmed in and out.
Right.
But,
yeah.
But it was the stagnant offense is what killed us.
But what I'm saying is,
and then Willie going out. Do we know what happened?
I thought he came down on somebody's foot. I don't know if that's true.
He was limping. I saw him limp off the court. So
Captain Crash in the chat said he went on some KSR message boards, and Mario Matlin has kind of said that he thinks he's good. He was walking around good afterwards, thinks he should be good to go for Monday. My question is, what happened to Marcus Lee? When they said he was on the roster, I thought that meant he was playing.
That was the first thing that I said. We walked in the gym, sat down in our seats. I said, hold up, where's Marcus? How are we going to announce he's on the team and then he doesn't show up? So one of the guys who is a sponsor for the La Familia team came up to me at halftime. I said, what's going on with Marcus? He said he couldn't find a flight.
He was in Kentucky on Thursday.
He said that to me, and I looked at him and I said, dude, what did you just say? What do you mean he couldn't find a flight? Like, come on. I don't know.
Because he put on his Instagram.
It was awfully 50 because they didn't say there was nothing about it. Nothing came out. Like, I guess he'll show up on Monday. We'll see.
Well, they said, because somebody put on Twitter or that they screenshotted his post from Instagram, and he was in Lexington. And I'm like, then I heard somebody say that he had a scheduling conflict, but it's kind of like with Justin McBride. You're hearing so many different things.
Why wasn't – I don't know. I think transparency is like the
nobody
key.
Does it.
It's like fan satisfaction. And that's like the number one job for any social media organizer or, director of any organization, man. Like just, okay, we announced that he was a late add to the roster and then he's not even in the gym. What?
I was waiting for him to turn around and get Sheboy a uniform. They kept showing him behind the bench. I'm like, they're from the first half. The only reason Louisville stayed remotely close was their offensive rebounding. And I kept waiting, like, what are we going to do here? Then I thought, Whitney did a pretty good job. I mean, he's a big body. And I thought, you're not going to find a more active player than Chris Coffey. That dude is everywhere.
Very,
Now he
very
struggles
active.
to score. We saw him miss a few easy ones, and he took a bad floating running shot there at the end, I guess in Elam time that got blocked. But it's just like
You know what that tells me is, Chris, you could just see the Georgetown NAIA scrappy, type of ball that he was used to playing, right? It's totally different than Major D1.
I watched him at Georgetown, and I've also watched him at the Maysville Dirt Bowl for several years.
Yeah.
And that high energy motor is what you see no matter where he's playing.
No matter where. Yeah.
Yeah, like even at the Maysville Dirt Bowl that don't mean nothing. You're thinking that, hey, why are these guys going hard in case they get hurt? They're going to miss work, or if some of them are still playing. I know when the Davenport kid from UC, or no, Jerron Cumberland played at the Dirt Bowl. He was still playing overseas, making at a really high level. And there goes guys going out there diving on the floor after loose balls. And
Yep.
But I guess once you've played at a high level and you're a competitor, you only know one way.
Only know one way.
And you can't
I
shut
love
that off
I
depending
loved
on
it, man.
Yeah, I did too. And
There
I
was
love watching it.
a lot of tipped balls on those offensive rebound attempts that we won that took us to the other end of the floor. At the end of the day, I think because that stint where we couldn't score, we won a lot of those offensive rebounds to where they could have they could have shut it out. But they tied it up. I was like, shoot, man.
And not only that, but
I thought Montrez was going to make that damn three.
Well, and I told the chat, I showed highlights of it, and when he shot that, I kind of paused and said, now, for y'all that didn't watch this game, that shot right there is to win the game. And it just happened to front iron. But Trez turned it on a lot in the fourth and an Elam ending, but a lot of that is because Willie wasn't in there. He's battling against smaller guys that he was stronger than. But Louisville made some really good defensive plays to get blocks around the rim when I thought we had layups to score.
They blocked, I bet you, 6 shots in a row at the rim.
I do, yeah. And that one layup that Morcell had, that Henderson passed it to him cutting, I thought that was it. I thought that was the game right there. And then somebody comes from out of nowhere to block it. And like it was a really good game. But I was kind of shocked because I didn't know, like once Louisville tied it up and had the momentum, I didn't know if we had enough to finish.
I didn't either.
And I thought if we lose this game being down or up 17, there's no way we'll win Monday.
Did you by chance rewatch that inbounds play John Hood drew up? What a terrific! Hey, can we get John Hood to drill that with Mark Pope and the Kentucky squad? I loved that.
It's
played it in slow motion 4 or 5 times a night.
It's fun, and if you go back and look through the chat, we were talking about it, and everybody had the same comment. Where did Hood learn this? Because they didn't run out of bounds plays when he played at Kentucky. They basically just lobbed it into the side or whatever. But
Hood doesn't run inbounds plays.
They didn't run any. It wasn't a thing. But I watched it, and it was like a lot of that was on the player too, because once they saw kind of Harrell scoot up, he just curled that, and
it was,
a great pass from Whitney.
I think it was designed. It was designed to make it look like he was going to run through that pinch.
Yeah,
and then he slipped it, cut in, because if the defender knows anything, they're going to try to slip through it. He tried to cheat it, and then Morcell popped down straight to the rim, wide the hell open.
And I'm glad it
was perfectly executed.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Cats by 90 says Louisville's coach was a little emotional. I did not know this, but they said it on the coverage. He coaches high school basketball in Kentucky at one of the Hardens, maybe North Hardin, Central Hardin.
Who is it?
Louisville's TBT coach. He coaches high school basketball in Kentucky.
Do you know his name?
I will look it up here. They said it. Of course, I didn't pay no attention, but when they said he was a high school coach in Kentucky, it kind of got my attention. Louisville's TBT coach.
Hey, what's up with this? Our peanut. What's a peanut dude? It says BBN.
I don't know. He's been. I've put a stop to him.
Hey, peanut. What's your deal, man? Tell me. I'm on here now. What's your deal?
I don't understand it. I don't know why he does that. But I've put a stop to, or I've asked him to stop at least, and I've not seen him comment in a while. So
last time I came on, he didn't say a word.
Does he come into your chat any?
No, he's never come on mine.
Oh, well, he's a faithful fan in here, but he sometimes gets a little rowdy, and I have to end up. Louisville's TBT coach 2026. All they're wanting to show me is that's not the right guy. That's a. All right, let's see if I can find a list. They wanted to show. They keep showing me a white guy, and that's not.
I couldn't really tell. We were on the opposite, so we were across from the La Familia bench on the floor, not on the sideline, but on the floor at the bottom of the corner section.
So you were able to get floor like pretty well on the floor.
I was on the floor.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And honestly, and I didn't realize it. It was kind of tough to see because they had that front floor row that was scooted up right there on the sideline, and then us on the bottom of the actual section.
That's actually
Either way,
awesome.
we were like 2 rows. The team was sitting like 2 or 3 rows behind us.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. I thought it was awesome that the Cats showed up to watch. Which I know Mark Pope's made a concerted effort to kind of include them, and ever since they scrimmaged and, inviting them back and things like that. So to my eyes, it was really, really good to
Yeah.
All right. Who's Michael Baffour, Baffour.
Man,
He
that
is
name
the
sounds
coach at
familiar.
North Hardin since 22-23. This past season, they posted a 26-7 record and won the 17 district championship before they fell to Taylor County in the 5th region.
That name sounds familiar.
It's Baffour. Baffour. Okay, I put it.
What do you think? I think we get Archie and Marcus Lee. I mean, honestly, we should. I think we can dust that team. Really,
I thought we should have won by 15 today if we made free throws.
Should have. That team couldn't shoot for nothing. I mean, really couldn't shoot for nothing. They had a couple breakdowns, a couple times where we guarded. I think too close to half court, and they made a quick move, got around, and got to their hip and just scored.
When they started attacking the basket, they did a lot better. But early on, they were 3 of 15 from 3, and they had that Withers, the big man, kept shooting them. I mean, they had everybody shooting them. But did you know that Malik Williams that came? He was at the summer league last week with the Bulls. He was late getting there today. He didn't show up till like
he looked awful.
Yeah, the first media timeout, I think, is when they showed him on the bench. They saying he had just arrived at the airport and his brother picked him up and they drove really fast straight to Lexington. And so he joined the game late, but
yeah, he didn't look good. Really, it was obviously Russ Smith played well, and what's his name, dude from Trinity?
David Johnson.
Yeah, he played well.
I thought Russ looked really good early, but I thought he was out of shape. I thought he was tired. He shot a couple of those really deep threes real short, and then he didn't even play.
A couple of them fell 2 or 3 feet short.
I mean, I guess the first thing that goes your legs, and I really thought that's where
first
Kentucky
thing
had an
that
advantage.
goes. Yeah.
I really thought we had an advantage conditioning wise. I still couldn't believe that when I saw the screen and it said that Liggins was 38 years old. I could not believe that
38. He was the class of 08, right? He came in.
So if he was 18, that's 19 years ago. So, I mean, you're looking at 37.
Yeah.
So he's already had a birthday. I mean, my goodness. But I really thought the first half and the second quarter when they made their run, like it was his defense that just kept him out of the paint. Like he was moving his feet like he was a college senior. And
athletically gifted, man. Looking at him and physically, he looks like he's 22. It's crazy.
It really is. And but I was looking at the Louisville roster they had a while ago, and they had a few players not show up too, like Ray Spalding they had on the roster. And they had another guard, I think. I can't remember who it was that I didn't see played. So
I wonder if they're set to show up on Monday.
See, I don't know. I mean, I don't know really what the rules are. If you have guys on a roster, can they just show up whatever day it is and play?
I guess if you
add to the
on the
roster,
then yeah, I mean, they can show up whenever they want to show up, I imagine. The only thing is, like, how are you going to make the commitment? Because obviously there's a financial interest in making that commitment to play for the team, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't play the first game or two, then I would hope that their cut is probably a little bit lower than everybody else's, right?
They better prorate his cut.
Absolutely.
But and I constantly think of, when the twins were here with Andrew and Aaron, you know, they took a lot of hell, took a lot of heat. Andrew seems to be well received now, seems to be loved by most everybody. But I was super glad that, you know, we got Khalil Whitney, and because he transferred out, we really didn't get to see a lot of him in college. But he's one of those guys that I've enjoyed watching him play the last 2 years. And I know he's moved back to Lexington. I know he's training some high school kids now. He's kind of getting involved in the community. So I think that's just great to have him back.
Whatever happened to, didn't he say a few months ago that he had another year of eligibility? Maybe it was a joke. I don't know. He said something. He tweeted something like he had one more year left.
He may, considering with all this stuff that has happened and went on, and you know, this 5 for 5 stuff. You got Cade Tyson, these guys suing, and I've already seen people say that Pope's offered Tyson a contract, and I'm not seeing anywhere other than that. Or, you know, the one thing about Kentucky fans is whenever anybody enters the portal or they think somebody's open for a spot, they always seem to think they're coming to Kentucky. Like, you know, well, he's a cat. He's a cat.
Yeah, like it's gonna happen. Who's Peanut? Peanut? Who you saying is a fake fan?
I don't even look at the chat.
I guess he's talking about me.
Peanut, okay, and I told Peanut this the other day. Sometimes I don't think Peanut believes some of the stuff he says. He says, check out BBN. Peanut, stop.
Unfaithful back
in April.
Tell Peanut to come on with me. I'll talk to him.
No, I don't let him come on. But he's really, I mean, a lot of nights, like last night, I had to get on him because who was he on last night? I don't think he either hates Cal or hates Pope. I can't keep in. I don't know which one, but he's all.
No,
he hates KSR. He hates KSR.
The denominator is hate. He
hates
no
KSR.
Who it is.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. I don't even look at the chat when I'm talking to you because I don't want to. Sometimes they irritate the shit out of me, and I don't like to mess with it. But how was your experience with the live show?
You know, it was good. It was
good. Different?
It was. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. A live remote is a completely different experience. Now, I spent like my entire morning yesterday trying to figure out the audio because I'm not like. First off, like anyone who knows me, like I'm not a professional radio guy. I'm not someone who goes out and does this for an actual living. I'm just doing it for fun. So I had a Bluetooth like speaker. It was actually like, you know, it puts out some sound, but there was a little bit of a lag whenever we would say something, and then it would kind of lag in between, and it really screwed us up. So if we do it again, I'm going to have to get some professional grade speakers that cuts out that lag because it made it really difficult to. So
you're saying like when you would talk into the mic, there'd be a second before we would go through the speakers?
Yes.
See, yeah. I wish I knew. See, that's what I don't know anything about. Like I couldn't even, to be honest, I couldn't even set up 2 monitors without needing help. So I definitely don't have any audio technology, anything like that. So
yeah, it was funny thing is there was actually, do you remember Wazoo Sports from back in the day?
Yeah.
You remember Quincy?
Yeah.
Quincy from Wazoo. So he came. I messaged him. I told him. So he made me a highlight tape whenever I was in high school. You know, what year is it?
Does he do another company now?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But anyways, go ahead.
I think he's doing something different now.
I feel like I've seen him.
He came out, and you know, obviously he has some radio and experience with like that arena of media. So I think I need to get one of those switchboards, right, that will cut all that stuff out. So he told me, he's like, hey man, just let me know if you get it. I'll come up and help you out and get it set up for you. So yeah, he was the guy who did all the Wazoo Sports back in the day.
But I feel like I've heard the name Quincy and media. I can't remember if it's somewhere in the high school basketball.
Not Quincy Kreitzer.
No, not him. But it's no, I feel like I've seen or heard that name somewhere in the high school basketball AAU type circuit or whatever, circle, however you want to say it. But like I've heard people
He
mention that
filmed
name.
he did a lot of our games at Scott County. He made my highlight tape to send to colleges when I was a senior. I mean, he did some really good stuff.
Yeah, it was. But I was just curious because I figured it would be a I don't know. I just feel like although we're live here, it's not like, we're not edited, we're not recording to where we can go back through and take something out that if we screw up or whatever, but just with people looking at you, 100 eyes on you that are waiting to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a totally different feel. And I've done 4 remotes. And nothing crazy. It's not like we have like a packed house, but
right.
I mean, we started at 4:30 on a Friday afternoon because they had a scheduled live music band coming in starting at 6. So I kind of had to go with that early slot. But I would say about half the bar was full at 4:30, which would have been dead otherwise. So either way, I mean, it was beneficial for them to have us out. And especially in the middle of summer when there's really nothing going on. But yeah, you're looking out at the crowd and trying. Whenever I noticed that lag was really kind of bugging everybody, it threw me off big time.
Yeah, and I've had that happen just with my microphone here where there's like an echo. Like you stop talking because it like while you get ready to say something else, what you just said is now coming through, and it's hard to do. And but that was kind of the same way that Loyal BBN Fan Show was. I mean, he had a good crowd, but it wasn't packed or wasn't over. But everybody there was kind of interacted, and it was just I don't know. I think I like watching live shows because I like the vibe, I like the atmosphere, and kind of like what you said, the place that had them. Everybody seemed to drink something or eat something, so it definitely helped the business. So they benefited as well. So
absolutely,
it was good. It was good. I'm hoping y'all can do more like that because Georgetown's a hell of a lot closer to me than Louisville is.
Right. Yeah, I'm working on setting something up with Country Boy here soon.
Okay.
Maybe we can do like a preview of the football season.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, you know what I was thinking about today, and what made me think about it was, as soon as I looked at Willie, and for anyone who follows Willie on social,
well, he follows me. I was surprised.
Willie's a golfer now.
I know he's got his own golf channel.
Hear me out. This, I mean, and this is kind of piggybacking off of the Mega podcast. What if we do a Kentucky sports golf scramble? We all come out, kind of do the same thing, but it's a golf scramble format. And we promote each other that way.
Absolutely.
And we get Willie to come on. He can promote his apparel.
Listen, I started following his. I couldn't believe that Willie was a golfer, but
he's obsessed.
I know.
That's all he posts is golf. I get it. Once you get that itch, you can't get it. You can't satisfy it. I mean, I don't blame him.
I'm lucky that I gave up that itch several years ago because I was playing a lot. It was getting expensive and my scores weren't getting any better. So it was pure frustration on my fault. Austin, do you like Pepsi?
What is that? What kind of question is that?
Phil Smith wants to know.
Do I like Pepsi?
Yeah.
Pepsi Zero. But Coke
Pepsi Zero, Phil.
Coke Zero first.
Coke Zero, then Pepsi Zero, Phil.
Y'all got better questions than that. Come on.
I don't know who Phil Smith is.
Do I like Pepsi? What does that mean? Is that like a
because I drink Pepsi on every show.
Oh, okay.
So he was commenting that he likes Pepsi too. Then he says, "Does Austin like Pepsi?"
I'll be honest with you. I'm not drinking Pepsi. I'm drinking a Truly that I got from my fridge. So.
What flavor?
Berry Blast, Truly.
That sounds pretty good.
Hey, it's 11 o'clock on Saturday, so it's allowed.
Hey, I think you can drink it whenever you want. You're a man. You're a grown adult.
I got 3 kids. There's times where you just, you need a little bit of something to shut you down a little bit, right? No, I think the atmosphere at Memorial today was awesome. It was really it was for a noon. I felt like I was going to a football game, number one, but for a noon game, and everyone's still just trying to kind of wake up. It was electric. I mean, it was great. I enjoyed it.
I don't seem to ever worry about the crowd because I know most of the Big Blue Nation that most of them show up. Oh, Phil is Amy's. Okay, I saw. My bad, Amy. I've never seen him on here before. I don't think I have, but yeah, awesome. Glad to have you both. But it was. How many do you think Louisville will show out at home, or do you think there'll be just as many Kentucky fans as Louisville fans?
So yeah, so somebody asked me that yesterday. Oh man, I think it'll be about 60-40. That's my guess. Now, if there's more blue, great. I think that there could be. My guess was going to be that it'd be 60-40 Louisville, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm going.
Are you going?
Halls.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll be there.
They showed the crowd multiple times today on TV, and there were very few Louisville apparel whatsoever. I saw like one lady. I saw two boys standing between two other boys that wore Kentucky. Like I bet I didn't see 10 people.
I didn't see any. I saw zero.
Well, they were all be behind you if you sat on the floor. You didn't watch behind you.
It was kind of hard to see from that low.
You said you sat in front of the Kentucky basketball team several rows.
Yep.
Was Justin McBride there?
I did not see Justin.
I saw that Cam Williams was in a boot and on crutches.
Yep.
I still think that's all just precaution. We're still a long way.
I think
long way away from the season starting.
Yeah, guys, don't freak out about that. He'll be ready to play. Don't freak out.
I'm not. But I don't know. This whole McBride thing just seems mysterious to me. He wasn't in Vegas.
What's going on?
Everything I've read, and I've read from several different people saying that he's sick. I don't know if that means he's caught the bad lettuce. I don't know if he's got that explosive sickness going around. I don't know, but he didn't go to Vegas. I was at Vegas when they were there, and I didn't see them.
He might have mono or something like that. He's at that age to where that can put you down for 2 or 3 weeks.
I just wish they would just like you mentioned earlier, transparency, which I know they don't owe us anything, and they don't have to share their health information with us, but it just would. I mean, when I log on to Twitter, it seems like that's what everybody's talking about now. Like they were showing some TBT highlights, and like the first comment was, "Where's McBride?" And I'm like, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me in particular, I wouldn't worry about it unless he didn't show up to like the blue-white game. Like we're sitting here in July. Like, who cares? Maybe he's got a family emergency. Maybe there's something going on that they don't want to, put out publicly. So he's on the roster. There's not an injury issue.
Right. I wouldn't think so. And somebody said that like early on, like maybe while they were at Vegas, he posted on Instagram and he still had Kentucky gear on. So I think if something serious would have happened, we may have heard more.
We would have. I think so too.
Maybe just it just seems kind of odd because he was one guy that you saw a lot of the highlights. But when they scrimmaged a TBT team, I thought for sure I saw a guy wearing blue that had 21 on, and I thought it was McBride. But
I didn't see many of those highlights.
Mark Pope put out, the highlights from that first practice or scrimmage, I think. And he started out with lining them up in the circle, and Pope was talking to all the current players, telling them to be sure to thank the older players. They've paved the way, give them the props they deserve. But they just showed some quick highlights, and it looked like that Zion Hawthorne, because he hit a corner three and Aaron Harrison passed it to him. So it looked like a couple of the Kentucky players played on the La Familia team just because I don't know if they had all their players there or not.
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like it was just.
I know Aaron Harrison it killed him that he couldn't be on this year's team, but he just his wife just had a baby.
Yeah, and I heard that Andrew said it, and he just
got married,
father, and he's recovering from an injury or rehabbing an injury of some kind.
Yeah.
So, and he loves to play in the TBT. He's played every year. Like those guys are the first to commit every single year.
He told me, because I had him on my show for the first time, I don't know, 3 months ago or so, and he said he'll play until he can't play anymore if he's able to. So I love that. And you can you can just feel that energy from them, him and Andrew both.
And that's just what kind of cracks me up. Like, I thought those guys took a lot of unnecessary heat when they were players at Kentucky. I don't know if it's because, they were such highly recruited out of high school. They were highly ranked. They got some unfair expectations put on it, maybe. And then we had the shirts, don't worry, the twins are coming kind of thing. And it just seems like they were
their freshman year,
the punching bag for a lot of fans.
They caught a lot of flack their freshman year. But you know what? Man, they overcame it. They overcame it. And look, I mean, talk to them now. You look at them now. You can just tell by the way they act and come back to Lexington that they love BBN. They love the fans. And, the whole narrative that the fans are shooing away these recruits, I can't stand that take. It's that may be the number one thing that pisses me off the most is that take in particular. Because if that is the case, I don't want that player anyway.
Well, and I said that last night on the or Friday on the show. And I don't know if I think it was Peanut that I was having a disagreement with. But he was talking about the fans and some of the negative stuff on X or Twitter. And I see that stuff. And I know that Michael Marino commented about it with Malachi and things like that. But I said to him, and I challenged everybody, show me one recruit that did not come to Kentucky that has cited the fan base is the reason they didn't come.
Show us one.
Just one. Just show me.
One. And
I've never heard of it. Now, do they probably see some of the stuff? Yeah, but they see some of the stuff from the other schools as well. Imagine what Malik Monk got from Arkansas when he didn't go to Arkansas, his home team, and chose to come to Kentucky. He got it too.
My argument is if you're that mentally weak, you ain't going to make it at Kentucky anyway. You're not. I'm sorry. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. So that narrative needs to be put to bed, and it needs to be put to bed now.
Right. And I don't believe that. When I said it last night that I don't believe it, I have said in the past, I do believe they see some of the stuff on there. Travis Perry mentioned it just a couple days ago. And I do think Kentucky kids that play at Kentucky, they get it harder than any other kid for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I thought Travis Perry got some unnecessary hate at Kentucky. Then he got booed at Ole Miss. When, I get it. When you're an enemy, when Cal comes into Rupp this year, I expect a chorus of boos to ring out. But I don't think you forget about what they did while they were here.
No,
no.
There will be a day where Cal walks back into Rupp,
and he'll be loved.
It might be 10 years from now, and there's going to be a standing ovation. The place is going to go nuts. They're going to put his name in the rafters. And,
absolutely.
That feeling that we got when Tubby came in a few years ago with High Point.
Yep.
It'll be very similar.
And I'm glad that Tubby got his recognition. I think he's going in Hall of Fame. I think he deserves it. I mean,
Tubby is a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Fame person as well as a Hall of Fame coach. And
absolutely,
I'm a Tubby fan now. I do think it was time for him to go when he left. He'd kind of wore out, but you knew when your kid went to play for Kentucky, they were going to be well taken care of.
So I grew up going to the father-son camps whenever Tubby was there. And Dad would take me, and man, he was just so good with all the fans and the kids and the dads, and Tubby was all time.
Yeah, I
think
he
really
was.
Good
person. I think Tubby's a genuinely good person.
For what it's worth, so for y'all that listen to my show, Coach, who coached me growing up, at the end of our like AAU era when I was in high school, Tubby offered him a assistant job at Minnesota.
Nice.
He did, nice. And he ended up having to turn it down because it wasn't like the relocation wouldn't work for him. But then he tried again when he went to Memphis to hire my coach.
So did he coach you in high school or AAU?
AAU.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I mean, and I've talked to Tubby several times, and every time you talk to him, he has the ability to make you feel like you're the most important person in the room.
Right.
When he's talking to you, he looks you in the eye.
That's an art in itself, man.
Right.
It
Especially
just
somebody at that stature, that kind of I don't know. I was always a fan of Tubby, and I think he deserves.
Couldn't you tell just by the way that the players that played for him were just so invested because they could just feel that Tubby was invested in them and cared about them in a way that was really unmatched.
Yeah, and the only thing that bothers me now is, of course, Chris Lofton's from up here where I'm from. I'm about 20 minutes from him. Still see
Tubby
Chris
miss
a lot.
on Chris Lofton,
and I don't know, but when it came down to it, it seemed like it was either Rondo or Lofton. For that position or that spot, or I don't know if he could have got both.
Lofton was a shooting guard, wasn't he? He played two guard.
But I think they only had a limited number of spots or something.
You got to find a spot for Chris Lofton,
for what that guy did.
You got to find a spot for Chris Lofton. I'm sure you go back and ask Tubby. He said, "I don't know what the hell I was thinking."
I guarantee you he'd be the first to admit it. But the times I've talked to him, I've never really had the nerve to ask him. I'm kind of like, "Well, he's such a good guy, man."
I'm sure he's been asked that question behind closed doors several times.
Yeah, I'd like to definitely know what his thoughts are, because Lofton always seemed to play really, really well against Kentucky. But
he lit us up every time. And
I've watched him. He used to play in the Dirt Bowl a lot as well. But of course, with him getting a little bit older now, I don't know how much he plays. A lot of times he's on a roster, but
he's probably 40. He's older than Liggins. He's probably 40, 42.
I just know when I taught at Mason, I student taught at Mason County. And Chris Harrison's mom is who I student taught under, from Tollsboro, that played at Kentucky in '96 when, of course, had that really good team. And but his mom was teaching there as well. And I just remember, like, the day after they lost in the state tournament to Paducah Tillman, he was in the gym the next day. He was shooting shots, running wind sprints, Like, man, didn't your season just end yesterday or last night? He's like, well, this is when I just start. When everybody else's season's over is when I'm starting. And it was just kind of just that's something I've told every high school player that I've ever come in contact with, about the amount of work and the importance of work when everybody else is watching. But
it has to happen. It has to happen, man. I'd show up. I'd go. Our JV coach would work us out whenever at 6 a.m. at Scott County Middle School. We'd work out for an hour and a half and then go to school, and then have a 3-hour practice after school.
Jeez. And I will say this, brutal. As a coach, a lot of my 6 a.m. practices are some of the better practices I've ever had. It's before the day gets started. They haven't really had a day of school to get them down or frustrate them, or they haven't really talked to their girlfriend enough to be pissed off.
Those were always great practices. Coach Hicks tried them. You know what happened? We'd go to the 6 a.m. practice, and then we'd all just skip school and go home and play video games. So we come back the next day after that happened 4 or 5 times in a row. He said, "Oh, I can't have morning practice anymore because you guys just go home and skip school."
Y'all don't come to school.
Coach Hicks at all. That's just like he was just a gem, man.
Yeah, when you're watching in the crowd and you see how intense he is, sometimes it's probably easy to watch and say, "What's this guy doing? This guy's crazy." But
he was crazy.
Nothing but passion, though, man.
Ultra passion.
And I'll never forget Tyler Hicks's last game at Rupp Arena for as long as I'm alive, and just the ability to just be a coach's son and take some of the – I'm sure he took it from his dad – harder than some of the other people did.
Oh,
because
he was always on Tyler.
Yeah, and that's just, I just never forget it. Then, what the unfortunate events that transpired afterwards to Tyler just still break my heart. But I'm glad I have that last memory on the Rupp Arena floor, because that was when I was young enough to appreciate a lot of that stuff,
Right.
I saw where Kentucky's getting an official visit from Paul Osirur. I can't pronounce his last name. Did you see that?
Is that
the center, the 5-star center
from? Is he a high school guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was kind of when the class rankings first came out, Spears, Rosser, and him were ranked the first 3.
Okay.
Of course, Beckham Black has now moved up that list. There's a few others, but I saw where Rosser's getting a hard look at from Duke.
Oh boy.
So I'm not so sure that's hopefully his relationships with the Kentucky staff have strong
Yeah,
enough.
I think that we definitely need to prioritize that center position because Malachi's not going to be here next year, guys.
Right.
He's
We're-
not.
no,
He's not going to be. So
I think we're
I think that's
fortunate
high
enough.
priority.
I think we're fortunate enough to get him this year.
Yeah.
And so we'll make the most of that, but we definitely have to prioritize that position. I'm 100% in agreement there. And I really thought the 15th spot that they would maybe prioritize it by maybe getting another center or a big man.
What's the status on that dude from Minnesota?
All I hear still is that him and a few others are suing the university, but I kind of thought when that Tyler Nickel that's playing so well in the summer league for the Knicks from Vanderbilt said that he would sue. I thought I'd kind of read somewhere where they said it didn't matter if they would sue or not, that it was just bad luck that they were going to miss out, because they're the class that's not going to get 5 years. Same Denzel Aberdeen's group. And, and I don't know if they're thinking now that the government's going to allow them. I don't see the government allowing it. I don't think they will, but
I mean, if they're relying on the government, then that timeline's not going to work out for them.
And I think, and by the time they move this along, hell, maybe the season's half over. And then do you want to add somebody? They, I will say that it did seem like the last thing I'd heard was, and this was Pope's interview with Maggie Davis, I think, basically after they knew that the Serbian was going to go to UCLA, that he kind of acted like they didn't feel like it was a necessity to put somebody in that 15th spot unless they actually felt like they could use him.
Do we have a scholarship?
Yeah, we have one left.
If we have a scholarship, if we can use it, use it. Why not?
And that's kind of what a lot of people that I've talked to have said. I know Jake Cornett. I don't feel like it's a necessity. I don't feel like we need another player, but if we can get a kid that we can have for 2 years to develop, then by all means. But I felt like adding this kid from Serbia, who was going to be really, 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 really good in my eyes, I felt like that could have caused some problems with chemistry. And
I think it could have.
So
we'll never know. We could have dodged a bullet, but if he comes out for UCLA, averages 23 a game, 9 rebounds, and takes them to the Elite Eight, Final Four, then we'll be like, damn, man, I wish we could have got him.
Yeah, and it's obvious that if he does that at UCLA, he was going to be able to do it at Kentucky. Maybe not 23 because he's got probably more options around him at Kentucky, but I'd say 14 or 15 next year could be equivalent to 23 by the time everything rolls around with all the pieces we have. But
if he can average north of 20 points a game in the Mick Cronin offense, then hats off to you, brother, because Mick Cronin isn't necessarily an offensive guru.
All right, Crash says, yeah, I agree, and I don't know why anybody would like to play for Cronin, but some people seem to enjoy. By the time they get a hearing and appeals process is through, they won't have any season left to play. Money, that's why they might not use it. Boosters want results with a little tighter bottom line. Well, my take is we've already spent a hell of a lot of money, Crash. What's a few million more? We spent more than $22 million this year. We had to have.
You know what? If we have, can we please not let that number out?
Right.
Can we please? If that's the case, please don't let that number leak out.
I agree, because as soon as that number came out last year, every time we lost a game,
that was the first. I'll freely admit, I talked about it.
I said, I don't know how many times I said, we got a $22 million roster and we're down 18 points to Vanderbilt or LSU or whoever it was. LSU, I think.
We got beat by 35 in Nashville to Gonzaga. We got beat down the court on defense almost every possession, and they're getting paid that much? Hold up. Timeout.
That's why I think there has to be some kind of incentive or something about you got to do your end of the part before, and I know that nobody works that way now. But these kids that come out and load management like Darren Peterson. Of course, I don't think Kentucky had any of that. Maybe JQ, but I don't think he was healthy from the start. And I don't even know how healthy he was when he played.
Well, I think my take on that has always been UK medical staff, training staff cleared him. They deemed him able to play, and then he opted out after being able to play medically. So take that for what it's worth.
That doesn't necessarily give the best look.
It's not.
But also I saw where this week he had a successful surgery, and the Spurs are going to kind of nurse him along, which they're able to do that with the roster they have. So it may be a good position, good place for him. But Crash says that phone call the Pope got during his KSR interview was Costa Rica. Hadn't he already committed, though?
Yeah, that wasn't him.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think. That may have been the day. Shoot, I don't know.
It says Pope told Matt and Drew off the air that they had been out on Costa Rica for a while before he actually announced his commitment. Well, I think that's true, and I think that was they said on air it was him? Oh, I missed that then. I missed
that may have been the day that he announced then. Or it was the day after.
I lose track of time once it's
I
gone.
I know. I do too.
I was trying to think. I thought he'd already committed to UCLA by the time Pope appeared on KSR.
I was thinking he did too, but we could be wrong.
It was the day he announced. Okay.
There you go.
So that's probably him saying thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't end up in Kentucky in year 2.
Well, isn't it a 2-year deal that he signed with UCLA? Can he opt out of that?
Are you familiar with Mark Maggard?
No.
Okay, well, Mark Maggard used to be a Kentucky media person, kind of well-respected. He came on the show one night, and he said that there's some kind of rule in place about a kid that's 17. You can't sign him for 2 years because he's not 18. He's only 17 years old. No, you can sign him for 1 year. Then once he turns 8, and that's what Kentucky was wanting to do.
Why?
Offer him that's why Kentucky was wanting to offer some of the money on the back end of that contract.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I get it, but wasn't it like public that it was a 2-year deal?
I think it can only be a 1-year deal, but I think you can say, but the minute you turn 18, we will offer you that second year.
Yeah.
With the amount of money attached to it or whatever.
So maybe there's hope to where, things don't go well in LA, and yeah, we're sitting there saying, okay.
Because I mean,
come on over, man.
You got to think about it though. That kid there, of course, there were 2 Serbians on staff, and with us and that assistant coach, we were before when you came on, we were actually talking about the coaching position. With Jamal Crawford saying no finally, although we felt like he was a no anyhow. I thought it would have moved a lot quicker along. I know people were saying peach jam and things like that, but I knew his contract with the NBA. But a lot of people were saying that they wanted Pope to look overseas for an international assistant coach. But it seems like he's already made his mind up on a guy that has worked with him for 5 years. And a lot of times in that position, you're going to hire somebody that's loyal to you.
Right.
Because that's a big thing.
Well, especially at this time, and we're late summer now. So, I mean, kids get on campus. I mean, the team's already there, but school starts in a month.
Yeah, because I think that happened with Yelovich and Big Z, right?
Right.
Then Big Z got sick because of the American food, so he was out another. Good thing he didn't get a hold of any of this Taco Bell lettuce.
Was it the American food or was it the Kentucky?
That may be a good a valid comment.
He hit up a couple too many hometown Mexican joints in rural Kentucky when he got here, and they got the best of him.
I think he ate too much too. I think he was gorging. But yeah, I'm happy with our roster as is. I understand the argument of if you've got another scholarship and you've got a spot, why not use it? But
I'm happy. Tell me this, and I saw these guys. They were inches from my face today. They are so long.
I know.
Not just tall, they are long. Why is the narrative that we're going to be bad defensively a thing?
We've talked about that
Your
on
coach,
here.
Is that not what defensive coaches drool over?
Length.
Is that kind of height and length?
Because you look at Usman, you look at Hawthorne, you look at Marino, and McBride's even long. But I just know the couple clips they showed. I saw one time where Usman was getting beat off the dribble and gave up a layup. He wasn't able to recover from behind. And of course, the help side wasn't great.
He got beat one time.
I didn't get to see the whole game.
Anyone who's won a national championship has never gotten beat off a dribble?
I can't say he only got beat once because I only saw one highlight, and the one highlight they showed of him defensively, he was getting beat off the dribble. So I don't think that's going to
You're
be
a coach. You see how the game goes. People get beat.
I honestly
it's part of
think
basketball.
Honestly, think though, and I don't, with it being summer practice, I don't know how much Mark Pope's actually sat down and drilled defensive positioning, defensive.
No, they're playing
strategy.
Pickup.
Yeah, they're
playing
scrimmage
pickup.
and playing pickup. So
you don't play help defense when you play pickup.
And I definitely think, I said that I don't know where we'll start defensively, but by the end of the year, there's no reason why we couldn't be a top 15 defensive team.
No reason.
I think we're quick. I think we're long. I think we're big.
Strong.
I definitely think we, yeah. And if Frank stays healthy and gives us 5 fouls in the middle, I mean, he's another guy that can defend the rim.
Let me say something about Frank. It was 80 degrees inside Memorial Coliseum today, and he had a big old hoodie on. I said, man, I'd pass out if I was wearing that big ass sweatshirt.
Listen, I teach high school kids every day, and their choice of clothing it seems like during the wintertime they'll wear shorts, and then when it gets summer, they'll have a hoodie zip tied all the way up, their hood on with a beanie on too. And I'm like, you all got your season screwed up.
I couldn't do it.
No, absolutely not.
Funny story. So when I played in college, we would get those, commercial grade vans whenever we would travel to like say we went to Union or whatever. And for some reason, our coach would always take back roads. And I had a couple dudes on our team and our coach would crank the heat to like 80 in the van. They'd have a toboggan on, sweatpants, hoodie zipped all the way up, and it would be toast. And I'd be in there with my shorts stripped down to a t-shirt. I'm like, what? How are y'all sitting in here like this? I can't do it.
I'm hot-blooded. Like I have to have on the minimalist amount of clothes. Like when I went to the Vegas last week, it was 113, and I saw kids, hoodies. I mean, I saw adults at our coaching clinic we went to. Some of the adults that were from Arizona, where they have the same heat, were in hoodies and pants. And I'm like asking them if I can take off my shirt.
Like, come on, man.
Like, what is it? What's the deal? But I know
Memorial, we figured it out today. Memorial, whenever they would call a timeout or there's a TV timeout, the lights would go off.
And it felt 10 degrees cooler.
And then we would feel like a burst of air. Timeout's over, they'd turn the lights back on, and it would just stop. Maybe that's just energy efficiency. I don't know, but can we not just pause that for the 2 hours while we're playing the game and there's 8,000 people in there?
I totally agree. Austin, the Toddcast says, who's on your Mount Rushmore of Kentucky basketball?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. How many do I get? Mount Rushmore. Four. Oh my goodness.
And if you want to do
for me personally.
Yeah.
Okay. Personally, I got to go Tayshaun Prince no matter what.
So he's your favorite player of all time?
Yes.
Okay. I like Prince.
Tayshaun. Okay. Let's see. Gosh, that's a great question. It's a great question. Let me think.
Yeah, you don't have to, just think about it.
Tayshaun for sure. I was also a big Keith Bogans fan.
Bogans don't get enough credit for what he's done at Kentucky.
Bogans was nasty. I agree. He does not get enough credit. Let's go Tayshaun. I'm gonna go. I was a big time Tyler Eulis fan. I love Tyler Eulis. I'm gonna go Tyler Eulis. Tayshaun Prince, Tyler Eulis. I need a big guy.
And as soon as you list four, you'll think of five more that
I know. I think there's so many guys that are so close. Eulis for sure. Tayshaun Prince, Tyler Eulis. And I'm only 34, so the older guys I never really watched play.
Right.
I'm thinking I was a big time Jamal Murray fan. I love Jamal Murray.
The Green Arrow, yeah.
Yeah. Is he Mount Rushmore? I don't know. That's such a great question. It's so hard to narrow down.
Peanut, we're not necessarily talking. We're just talking like your own personal Mount Rushmore, not necessarily all time.
Stat set aside, like for me personally, yeah, Tayshaun Prince, Tyler Eulis, Jamal Murray.
It would be hard for me to list 4 right now.
It
really would.
is. You know, I'm gonna go Malik Monk.
Monk was the best player I probably seen play high school.
I played 2 guards, and I love the way Malik Monk played. You watched that North Carolina game they played in Vegas? Are you kidding me?
I was unreal. But the guy that asked you that question, me and him went to when Kentucky Lexington hosted like the EYBL one year.
Okay.
And we went. One of the first games we actually saw was Malik Monk played against the big Azubuike that went to Kansas.
Okay.
Big center.
Yes.
And Malik Monk, he played for the Arkansas Wings.
Yep.
And just the dunk that just his transition game was crazy.
Monk is bouncy, man. He's bouncy. I played the younger version of Arkansas Wings back in the day. Malik Monk was a little kid, but
and it's kind of funny
there was a tournament there at Arkansas. It was called the Real Deal on the Hill.
Okay.
This would have been mid to late 2000s. But they had like a big old national tournament, and it was I played in Arkansas's gym. I played at Arkansas. I played at Tennessee. I've played North Carolina. Played at Duke. Where else? Ohio State.
So you're telling me Grant Derbyshire would not make your Captain Crash? Grant Derbyshire, he played with Walker Horn. He was one of the walk-ons for Cal the last couple of years.
Hey, let me give you an unpopular, not favorite player, but one of like a player that I really enjoyed to watch growing up that I think will be an unpopular opinion. Oh my gosh, his name just escaped me. The point guard for Cliff Hawkins.
Oh,
Cliff Hawkins.
He was solid, man. Solid.
He was
guard, number 1. I remember him. But I think there's certain point guards over the years that frustrated me. Like I got frustrated with Briscoe a lot, but I think he was a good player.
Yes.
I think he made some bonehead plays at times, but
sure.
But I thought he was a good player. But it's funny to look through the chat, and you can kind of tell the age of the people commenting by who they're picking on their Mount Rushmore. Givens, Rick Roby, Steve Masiello, Holly. I think he's been in some trouble. He would be with Kerr and Sean Woods, Kerr Crease and Sean Woods in the Kentucky Federal Medical Center, and probably Tiger King would be their 4th. I think Masiello got in some trouble, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't know.
I say these things all the time.
How many of y'all would have Chuck Hayes in your Mount Rushmore of UK guys? Chuck's a UK favorite, man.
You're not kidding, man. You are not kidding. Gosh, he was
like
one of
if I think like what I grew up with UK basketball: Tayshaun Prince, Keith Bogans, Chuck Hayes, Cliff Hawkins, Gerald
Hishimu
Fitch,
Evans,
Hishimu, Marquise Estel,
Kalina
Azubuike, Jules Kamara.
Yeah,
I'd go to those father-son camps and we'd sit there and watch them scrimmage like in person, and I mean it was awesome.
And it'd be hard for me not to have Jody Meeks. I was a fan of Jody Meeks.
I mean there's so many guys you could pick.
And I was a shooter. I was a shooter in high school. Like I shot it really well, so I would always pick, like Jamal Murray's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
just because I knew when the ball left his hands, it had a really, really great chance.
I think people forget how efficient he was from 3 that year. I mean, we really just needed Scal to be Scal, for Scal to live up to his name and his ranking for us to make a Final Four run.
Well, I think too, though, it was too late in the year when Calipari finally started using him where he was comfortable. He tried to make him a back to the basket type post, and I think it was really hard for him to do that. Peanut says I'd go Mashburn, Turner, AD, and Pope just because he played on a championship team and his coaching. I mean, you can put whoever you want. I would probably – it'd be hard, not to have Adolph Rupp on a Kentucky if you're looking at all time. But if you're looking at players,
Yeah.
podcast says Briscoe killed my grandfather. My pop passed away the night Briscoe stepped on the baseline twice versus North Carolina. I know. I believe me. I know.
I remember that game.
We're going to serve papers to Briscoe later on for murder.
I remember that game. It was ultra frustrating.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Briscoe did so many things. He was a good rebounding guard. He was physical. He could defend.
Strong
but he
guard.
would just do a boneheaded play. Like, I was watching highlights of this year's Kentucky team the other day, like the Pope put out from the Kentucky basketball Twitter account. Mason Williams is built like a man. He is thick in his arms. Man.
Zoom is built like a damn running back.
Yes. And I find it hard for this, and I actually I don't know if you weren't on here. I don't know. You may have been in the chat, but the last show I did on Friday, I noticed late. I mean, I said I was getting off at 12:30, and before I know it, it was 2:00. They get me. Peanut got me fired up about something. I went on a rant.
Not Peanut.
I know it's
no
hard
way.
to believe that Peanut gets people fired up.
No way.
But I think he does it on purpose sometimes. But it was like this guy, his Twitter account was 801 Bracketology. And he had Kentucky as a 7 seed. And then he put his reasoning, but the reasons
for this year?
Yeah, for this year's Kentucky team is a 7th seed in Bracketology. So you're looking at a top 30 team. So 20, 24 or 25, 26, 27, or 28 would be where, and which I think is outrageous. I think their team's better than that. Now, of course, the play on the court will dictate their seed.
Sure.
But I think their roster is better than a 7 seed.
I agree.
But he gave his reasoning, and he listed 2 reasons. The first reason was Mark Pope. The second reason was roster construction.
What does that mean?
So I commented like he wanted. Obviously, he wanted Kentucky fans to comment. That's why he did it, because Kentucky fan base, if they're not a 1 seed, Kentucky fans are going to comment griping. And so
Right.
I jumped in right where he wanted, and I told him I thought it was a lazy argument to say Mark Pope. And I put a graphic. If you look at Mark Pope's wins against top 20 teams, he's won twice as many as any other coach the last 2 years.
What seed were we with Bray and Amari Williams and them 2 years ago?
Probably a 4 or something, weren't we?
Okay. Is this roster better than that roster?
I think so.
I think it is too.
But
I truly do.
Now, some teams may be better now than what they were then. I mean, they still had Kentucky. Yeah, like Kentucky was ranked. If you looked at all the Kentucky teams, or if you look at all the SEC teams that he had ranked higher than Kentucky in bracketology.
Crash said 5.
Okay, 5. So I definitely think we're better than that.
I agree.
However,
now will we be a 2 or 3 seed? I don't know.
SEC's tough.
Again, we're playing in the SEC, but at the same time, if we don't make it and we do get a 7 seed, can this roster still make a Final Four? I don't see why not.
And that's the thing. Like, the SEC is tough, but even Florida, who I think's got the best roster in the SEC right now, I think they're beatable.
Not in the country, not the SEC.
Right, the country.
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
But I definitely think they're beatable. They're not going to go 40-0.
Listen, with our length, yes, they are beatable.
And I think Duke and Texas are also good, but Texas and the SEC, they're going to lose.
I don't think Florida has the shooters that we have.
Right. I don't either.
So if we can get our defensive scheme down to where, okay, we know where we're helping, we know where we're digging, we know where we're going to stunt and recover, right? Where we're going to meet these guys at the rim physically.
Because Marino's will be able to handle his own in the paint, I think. But they got Chinaloo. They got the big house. Okay,
so Crash said we were actually a 3 seed.
Oh, wow.
2 years ago.
That might be where I think we are. But it says Florida ain't all that. We beat the same exact team with the same exact players. Pope, first year, 106-100. I do remember we did beat Florida at Rupp, 106-100. I do. I remember Andrew Carr hit a 3 late in that game, but
that wasn't the same team, though.
No, I don't know. I think we're better. I think we have the ability to make. I think we got a good 3-point shooting team. We got guards that can get in the paint. I've heard that Usman Njai has been really, really good in practice. Of course, Alex Wilkins, and I just feel like we have all the pieces to be really good. And
you look at Usman, like I'm putting him on Tommy Houck.
Me too. Yeah.
Right. right? I mean, size and lengthwise, I'm putting him on Tommy Houck. They're the same age. They're just pieces that we didn't have last year. We didn't have anyone that could even measure up to that at all.
And that's kind of like where I thought too, like, why I didn't think, anybody criticizing Pope now, it's kind of unjust because I think Pope's done a lot of the stuff that we thought he should do. We got depth at every position. We got quickness. We got length. We got shooters.
I put out a reel a couple of days ago and said Mark Pope has done everything he's made this offseason. He's really just killed the narrative of Kentucky basketball is tanking within these last 6 weeks, I think.
And I don't think it's fair to say the statement now that Mark Pope can't recruit. I mean, you still got to recruit when you're in the portal.
I agree.
Now,
I agree.
I've also said that it's not fair to say that every miss is a whiff because if you've recruited a lot of players, you're not getting them all.
The thing is, like, if you go back, see, like, we don't know who Tubby whiffed on. Social media wasn't as prevalent back then.
Exactly.
We have no idea. We just don't. So everything is so magnified now because every little inkling of, okay, well, we're looking at this guy, we're looking at that guy. We don't really know how serious it was to begin with. So is every whiff a whiff? No.
And that's what I said. Like,
you don't get everyone. You don't make every shot you take. Are we going to shoot 100%? Does anybody in the world ever shoot 100%?
No. And the thing I argue was Cal missed on some players too. But they didn't want to talk about that because Cal had the #1 recruiting class every year. But Cal still whiffed on players, Right. I saw where he's got another kid in 27 class that's going to reclass, they say. And I don't know where he's going to put all these players he's got, but I think he's relying a lot on freshmen. And I think this day and age, I know a lot of people didn't like the one and done when he did it at Kentucky. And there were some good points. There were some bad points. I get it. But I think he signed 2 players recently, one a center, one a guard. They were both 27s, and I've seen some information saying they both could reclassify to 26. I actually think the big is going to. It's already set because they don't have a 5. Like, they're struggling at the 5 spot.
Yeah.
And the field of 60.
They lost Brazil.
Right. And I thought that guy was a hell of an athlete. He kind of reminds me of a Chris Coffey. Maybe better offensively, but
he reminds me of Willie.
Honestly. Yeah, Willie, exactly. But honestly, too, though, with it was the field of 68. And of course, I'm not a big fan of theirs a lot of times, but they did say they weren't.
Fan?
No, not really.
I
think he's personally biased against Kentucky, but it's just my opinion. I do feel like they did say they weren't sold on Arkansas, and that kind of surprised me to hear them say that because I wasn't either. I think
Goodman doesn't like Cal.
No, he never has.
No,
but it seems like they've taken more jabs at Kentucky lately than they have a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Just put Frank and Mason Williams in when we want to play bully ball. I just hope Frank's used for a few blocks at the rim and 5 fouls.
I want him getting down low, throwing some bows.
Take a foul by putting one through somebody's chest. I don't care.
You got 5 fouls, use them. You know what? I want to bring up a point. I made a video in that it was after the Florida game at Rupp where there was a loose ball and Yelovich didn't dive on the ground after the ball. And I said, just dive on top of the guy and fight for the ball. And I caught so much flack. And people were like, don't you know that would be a foul if you fell on top of the guy? I said, of course I know if he falls on top of him, it's a foul. I'll take that over not fighting for it at all. As a coach, you know what I'm talking about, right? If you look at a player and there's a loose ball, their team, their guys fall on the ground and ours doesn't, does that not just drive you nuts?
Well, what drives me nuts at the high school level, of course, I coach girls. It's a lot different than boys. If you get a girl that kind of plays hard-nosed, they stand out. Like if they'll take a charge, if they'll dive on the floor after loose balls.
Okay.
I've had a few of them, but I don't have – but I will say that a lot of times it seems to me like the first one that'll get to the floor is the one who comes up with the ball.
All right.
First one to the floor. But I've also applauded the effort when a girl's second to the floor and lands on that girl and her, she, kind of knocks the wind out.
And you know
of her.
what? Like the whole thing for me is like, I think that next time they're going to second guess getting up into your grill that close and trying to steal the ball from you again. I mean, that was my whole premise of like just showing that level of competitiveness, which I never saw from Andre Yelovich. It just seemed like every movement that he made was just he second guessed everything.
I really like Andre Yelovich's skill because I thought he was a European big with some skill to stretch the floor.
Skill was there, but a lot of the basketball instinct was non-existent.
A lot of the European guys are kind of soft when it comes to that. Big Z was kind of the same way, but he was more of a perimeter player than he was low post. But
and you worked that out in practice.
Yeah, and a lot it times
we used to do loose ball drills.
Roll the ball down the middle.
We used to do loose. So we would do. So they'd roll it out. Both players would dive for it. Whoever didn't get it sprints back to the block and sets up. Whoever got the ball drives in, and they set up for a charge.
I like that. Yeah.
If you want to teach toughness, do that.
Well,
I know you coach girls, but that's what we did.
It's funny. Like every year at the beginning, it seems like 3 days a week, we'll do a charge drill to where it's kind of like a 3-part drill. Like first one is, it's kind of like you pass the ball to the wing and they have to close out and kind of on ball pressure. Then they reverse it to the top. So then they got to get in help. Yeah. And then you reverse it to the wing and they got to sprint to the block as that wing drives to take up for a charge. But we usually let the person driving the ball just kind of stick the ball out and hit him in the chest as opposed to running in. But still, some of the ones that just
that's girls, right?
Right. But some of the ones that are just going to have the ball hit them, they're already following before the kid gets there. Like they want very little contact whatsoever. But
so the way I was coached, first off, whoever had the ball, they were told to drive through their freaking chest. And if the guy that was set to take the charge fell before contact, the whole team ran a suicide.
And that's, we usually do push-ups a lot as opposed to, I mean, it just depends. We do a lot of our punishments, push-ups or, just something to deal with strength. Yeah. Sometimes planks due to the core and things like that, but we will do some running stuff. But it's just like girls, if you find a girl that's willing to run over somebody or let somebody run over them, they usually stand out.
Yeah.
They're usually a different breed. But Captain Crash has a good point here, and I think sometimes our fans mix this up. Sometimes when Pope decides to move on, they're still calling it a whiff. Sometimes the coaches get an instinct of, like I heard that when Pope talked about in his Twitter videos that he knew one time after 3 hours that the player wasn't. And I thought at first that was Gabe Dines.
I think it's a great point. If the coach says, hey, you can't – I don't want him to play in my system. I don't feel like he can play in my system. I don't feel like he can mesh in this roster. Okay, let's trust the instincts of our head coach and say, all right, let's move on.
And, and like I thought it was Gabe Dines because I heard that meeting or that recruit visit didn't last very long, but I come out later on to find out that it was actually Malik or Rob Wright III. I guess they picked up on
Peanut.
Peanut. I'm not going to continue to do it. I've told you to stop a while ago. Now stop.
Yeah, my immediate response is always, come on my show with that same energy, please. I beg you. Just come on my show with that same energy.
The only time
if you're about it, then be about it. But if you're going to hide in the chat, then you know what, man.
I've always tried not to block people because they do have the right to say what they want, but I'm not going to give it any attention. So glad we moved on for Freeman. I didn't like him from the get-go. I think I'm not gonna lie. I think I liked Freeman at first, but once I started researching Freeman, I found out that he was injury plagued, and I feel like we didn't need that.
We don't need that again. No, we don't.
What's up, Anthony? How you doing, my brother? Good to see you here, man. It's all right not to have anything for Chris Adams, but, we know that you don't like these guys, but you don't have to say it every chat. I know how you all feel about KSR. I know how you feel about Chris Adams. I know how you all feel about sleepers.
Hey, for what it's worth, you guys, and I know y'all just see what Chris puts out on his social. Chris is a great guy. He's a great guy who I mean he does love Kentucky. I think sometimes he plays a part and kind of knows what his thing is and just let it be. That doesn't mean that you have to hate somebody. Y'all take this stuff too personal. You just do. It ain't personal. We're talking about sports. Come
Well,
on.
and I've also tried to explain to some of the people in the chat too that when you're on a podcast like this, you're putting yourself out there.
We
You know,
are.
and
Oh yeah, we are.
and there's going to be people that's going to comment that that like what we do, don't like what we do, agree with us, don't agree with us, but it's all right to have an opinion of not liking me, but I don't have to hear it every single show.
Peanut says at least play a clip from his podcast where they're trashing Pope. Play it. I don't care. Peanut, you post it. Retweet it.
Peanut, we had this conversation last night. Your opinion, I'm not going to try to change your opinion. You're not going to change my opinion. And you can feel that, but do you have to start an argument every night you're in the chat? Discuss something valid.
I think, yeah. I mean, bring something to the show. I think some of these guys just it's their thing that they just want to start a fight.
I think that you
always got that guy who just looks for trouble because they're bored.
Well, and I do say this: Peanut usually brings a lot to the chat. It's not always, but the last couple of shows he has started arguments, and he's got some beef with some of the other people in there. But I'm not going to listen to it every single show. It's just like
Keeper and Clyde started on my show. I said, cut it out. I'm not going to have it on my show.
Yeah, well, Clyde asked Keeper last night if he would please unblock him, and Keeper said no. So I was trying to extend olive branches on both sides, and it just didn't happen. But, I do feel like when some people feel like because they can get in a chat and they can say what they want, they tend to say more. But, if you're saying the same things every single chat,
the same thing with no ability to back it up. You got this dude that says the Toddcast, I'm Team Peanut, let him cook. Toddcast, he ain't cooking. He's throwing shade without any backup. That's not cooking. That ain't cooking. That's putting the pan on the stove and not turning the stove on. That ain't cooking, man. Come on.
Toddcast just wanted to say let him cook. I know Toddcast is my cousin. I know him. He don't know Peanut. He ain't ever. If Peanut would misrepresent stuff, he'd be fine. I'm not getting into that talk. We've had this discussion 1,000 times. It's time to let that go.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes, just because you're at Kentucky, whether it be a player or coach, and it's kind of like when you do podcasts, you're putting yourself out there. You're going to be, at Kentucky, you're going to be magnified times 10 with a magnifying glass. Everybody's going to be looking at you. And honestly, it's just doesn't.
Yeah, I think for me, it's hard to comprehend because, again, I mean, I've listened to KSR for 14 years. You guys think I agree with everything Matt Jones, Drew Franklin, and Ryan Lemon have said? No, absolutely not. Do you agree with everything that your wife says or your kid? That is not reality of life. You're just not going to agree with everything. And that's why would you expect that to be a thing in this world?
And that's what I've said on here multiple times. Like we're all going to have disagreements. There's going to be times this year that when I don't agree with something Pope does that you absolutely love. There's going to be times on here I love what Pope did and you disagree. If you can do it civilly and have a discussion, I'll discuss it with you all night long.
Yeah,
but I'm not. I'm not trying to change your mind, and you're not going to change my mind.
Correct.
I'm pretty stubborn. And Peanut does usually bring a lot to the chat, but when he's on something like KSR is another one. You start talking about KSR, we have to hear how KSR is negative, how KSR doesn't pump the crowd up, or they get the crowd stirring and brewing with negativity because of their opinions. And so
opinions, right? Opinions. Right. That's all it is. You don't like somebody's opinion? Okay, well then don't listen. Don't listen. It's as simple as that. but you do listen because it brings you entertainment at the end of the day. You can't turn it off.
Right.
That's all it is. I talked to Drew today. I love Drew.
Drew
Great
Franklin's
guy.
one of my favorite people.
Yeah. We could do a great show with Drew if
Listen,
we could get
Drew
him to come
Franklin
on.
has one of the best senses of humors and his quick wit.
Yeah,
I love it.
I agree.
But it's it don't matter what show you go on. There's always one or two people in the chat. Like I watched Happy Hour the other night with KSR, and there's people in the chat and I think they do it just because they like to stir up shit.
Yeah, they don't have the balls to put their faces out here and start talking.
No, and I'm sure there's been things on here that I've said that have been false, like that I thought I've read and I've misstated facts, or not on purpose, but I've just said it wrong or something.
How dare you? You should shut down your podcast.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Like, but I've often talked to people out there and I've had somebody tell me about like, like, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you get on there and talk and, just set yourself up for that kind of stuff or whatever. He said, I could never do it. I'm like, well, it's not as easy as you think.
No, it's not.
But when you have people in the chat that are active and they're all on the, it gives you more discussion.
Peanut says it's not really an opinion. It's a fact. It's on your videos. You're damn right. I criticized Mark Pope this season. I bashed him and rightly so. I lit Mark Pope up. We got beat by 35 in Nashville against Gonzaga, and our kids didn't sprint back on defense for over half of the game. Yes, I lit Mark Pope up after that game.
And that's
does that strip me from my UK fandom? No. I mean,
the discussion we had last night was, and I told Peanut this, there's going to be times that those guys, they're making millions of dollars now. The coaches sometimes they deserve criticism. But I would tell you this, that doesn't mean that I don't cheer for them, that I don't root for them. But what I'm not going to do is get on here and fake sunshine pump the state of the program or the state of that game or the state of the coach or players just so I can be positive. That's not what.
Let's think about this. Let's put it into a coach player perspective, right? You're a coach. Okay, you have players that that you have to push. You have players that that can perform to a certain level. You have a player that doesn't play well one night, or you have a player that noticeably isn't committing to the game plan. Do you ignore it and say, great job, I'm going to put you back in, and you're still going to play all those minutes that you did last time, even though you didn't commit to the game plan, or you completely disobeyed or ignored what everyone else was doing within the scheme? No, you sit their ass on the bench and you have a conversation like, hey, this can't happen. And if it's going to happen, then you're going to sit down.
I just don't think at any point in time should me, you, any fan, any media member, any radio member, whoever it is, should get on here and fake being happy or fake being satisfied or content with the program and
if I have to do that, I'll quit
every day.
If UK media asked me to do that, and listen, I'm nobody, but if that day ever came, I'll quit before I do that.
I will, like I said, you all are not going to see things the same way I do all the time. I'm not going to see it the same way you do, but how you go about handling that, you know, you can discuss it civilly. You can have a civil discussion about it, I should say. But I'm not going to get on here and sunshine pump when you're down 18 to LSU, the worst team in the SEC, because you've given a half-ass effort, not hustling back, not playing or whatever. Just
consistently going under screens when you know you're not supposed to.
Just because
that's just accountability. That's enforcing a game plan, man.
Just because somebody may hear us and say, "Oh my gosh, they're being negative about Kentucky." Well, I think true fans are going to be negative about Kentucky. If you're never negative about the program or the state of the program and what it's been the last 6-7 years,
then you're not a competitor.
Yeah, I believe that 100%.
Then you don't truly understand what competitiveness actually is. And I'll take that to my grave.
I will too, because as a competitor, you're going to get pissed off. You're going to get upset. I was pissed
You
off
don't
last year
think
against Gonzaga.
these coaches get into it with their own coaches and their players. And listen, you guys, if you think it's all rainbows and butterflies and behind closed doors in the gyms at practice, it ain't.
Well,
It
and
ain't. If y'all think that's the case, you're wrong.
and I said, I saw times last year, I knew that Jason Hart probably wouldn't be back this year. I saw him whisper things in Pope's ear several times, and Pope just kind of turn around and kind of go off, kind of like how Cal used to go off on some of his staff members. But when things aren't going well, I'm not going to get on here and say, it's all right, guys. It's all right. You know, we're Kentucky. It's okay. You know, I'm going to say what I think the problem is. And
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and isn't
you can agree or disagree?
The point of being a podcast is, hey, I want to put my opinion out there. And listen, if you guys don't like it, well, then simply, respectfully, then don't listen. Just don't listen. It's not that hard. I'm not making you listen. I'm not making you pull up YouTube or Spotify or Apple and listen to my show. You don't like it, then I don't listen. If I hear something I don't like and it's just not something that I enjoy listening to, then I don't listen.
I'll scroll to the next one.
Right. I mean, it's as simple as that. But if it keeps you entertained, and truly, if you go back and listen to it again day after day, even if you think you don't like it, you do like it because you keep on listening.
Well, and like I said, and I'm okay with you disagree with me. I'm okay if you don't like a take of mine.
Yeah, I want that.
But yeah, it's good for interaction, but do it in a respectful manner. Do it in, I don't know. And I'm not talking about just a peanut there. I'm talking about other shows I've seen. I've even been in situations where I've done something and I've got on Twitter and I've got off there and I've thought, you know what? That was disrespectful. I'm a professional. I shouldn't be acting. And I've went on there and deleted it. So I've done it. I've done it before. I know, but it's because I get so damn frustrated and seeing the same things over and over and over when they're not working. The substitution patterns last year got me griped more than anything.
Jasper Johnson at point guard, game after game. You put Jasper at point guard against the best pressure team in college basketball in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and expect that to formulate some sort of success. You're okay. Mark Pope deserved to be roasted after that game. He just did. What?
And I think the one thing I respect the most about Pope is he said it this year. He said it like when he first got hired. If I'm not doing something right, let me know.
He doubled down on KSR last week.
That's what I'm saying. He has said it multiple times. And I don't think that means let him know means that we should all go into his inbox or DMs
and cuss him and tell his family to move. No, we're just saying, Coach, man, what you're doing ain't working. It ain't working. And we got to figure it out.
The majority of the Kentucky fan base, and of course there's a small percentage, and the loudest voices get heard. We know that. But for the most part, and I think what makes the BBN fan base so good is the fact that they're passionate, and two, that they do know basketball a little bit. I mean, they've watched a lot of basketball. They get it and understand. But I also know that I'm willing to admit that I'm not in UK's practice every day. I don't know. Like there was during the Loyal BBN fan show yesterday, there was somebody said they just wanted to see Mark Pope get animated and cuss and just rip their ass. And I'm like, well, you're not at practice every day. You don't know what he does in practice. Mark Pope ain't the type that's going to stand over there on the sidelines and just cuss his players out. That's just not him.
He's not Dan Hurley. And if he does do that, it would be forced.
Peanut, I don't see anybody calling for Pope's job now. And don't say, well, they did it back in April. Back in April when we weren't getting anybody's recruits, I wasn't calling for his job, but I was saying, look, if things don't pick up, he's going to be out sooner than later.
And you know what? You guys, Pat Kelsey's in the same boat.
Oh, Pat Kelsey may be worse than Pope.
I think
it's a top 20 team.
I think it's very similar. He's in the same boat. And, Louisville was like throwing a parade downtown whenever they hired Pat Kelsey.
That's what I'm saying. And they've not beat anybody. And I don't know if you've heard this, and I think we talked about it on the last show you was on with me, but like there's people saying in Louisville that Pat that Louisville boosters have said they're going to give Pat Kelsey all the money right now or give him all the resources. And if he can't win with all the resources they've given him, then they're going to get rid of him. Like, because they've spent they're $30 million in debt.
Right. Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, you guys, the whole NIL thing is it creates more of the microwave society and saying, hey, I'm not going to continue to invest if we just continue to tank. Right. I mean, you all tell me, you put thousands of dollars into an investment and you lose it, you lose your nut year after year. Do you keep on putting that investment in?
Right.
Is that a good business decision?
Absolutely.
And I think 100% of y'all listening would say no. Okay, so can you blame a university or an athletic program for making that exact same decision? No.
I don't think so, or I think it'd be silly to. But
I mean, if you think that that's a good thing, well, then there's something wrong. Listen, you're not going. I mean, your program's going to continue to tank, and in today's environment, that's death.
Anthony, he'll get his full. Anthony's a Louisville fan. He's really cool though. He comes in here and chats with us. He's saying Kelsey will get his full 5 years, but we'll move on after. What year is he in? Is he in year 3 or 4? Is this his 3rd or 4th year?
Was he hired?
Was he hired the same year Pope was?
Did Cal and Kelsey play one game against each other? I don't know. I can't keep.
Oh no, Anthony will tell. Oh, Crash says he's in year 3.
Okay.
So
he's 1 year ahead. So Pat Kelsey's they need him. He needs to have a good year.
It's just hard for me to
for
believe.
what it's worth in the ACC, which is a lesser conference than the SEC now.
Right. But it's just hard for me to believe that he's not won a game against a top 20 opponent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
they were favored against Creighton a couple of years ago in the tournament when they played in Lexington, and they got busted.
That was an 8 or 9 seed with the Creighton. Yeah.
That was an 8-9 game. You're right.
We looked it up last night, like when Kelsey beat Pope last year. And I think what gets lost in that stat is it's if they're ranked in the top 20 at the end of the year. Because when Kentucky was number 9, I think when Louisville beat them last year at Rupp, or no, at Louisville, maybe. We looked it up last year. I think Crash looked it up. Kentucky was number 9, but at the end of the year, they weren't in the top 25.
We were number 9.
I think Crash, isn't that what you said when Louisville beat us last year? We were number 9 when they beat us.
Oh, that's right, because we played them really early.
We played them early.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I honestly, I know Louisville spent a lot of money this year, and I know they're putting a lot of their stock. Crashes, put a lot of their stock in Badunga. And they paid him a lot of money. I just don't see where their roster was any better than ours without Momcilovic.
No, it's not.
I don't think they're any. Honestly, not. And they also beat Miami at Miami when they were top 20. I know he's had some good wins, and Miami performed really well in the ACC tournament. I think they won a game in the NCAA tournament. I just didn't know what that rule was. I didn't know because I knew
March runs will save a coach's career just like that.
Or expedite it as well.
If there's no shred of evidence of a March run, then you hit that hot seat pretty quickly when you're paying $20-30 million for a roster.
Absolutely.
Year after year.
Absolutely. And I think, somebody was saying, I can't remember who it was, somebody last night, I don't think they're on here tonight, but somebody's talking about it should be like Final Four or bust this year with Pope. And I just think that's the wrong expectation to set. It's hard to make Final Fours. I think if we don't make Sweet 16, there's something wrong. I think we should make the Elite 8 with our roster. But teams NIL has made parity in the NCAA.
It puts a lot of pressure. NIL is going to get a lot of coaches fired within the next 5 years. And turnover, the turnover ratio and rate is going to skyrocket because the expectation is increased rapidly and dramatically because we know that financial, investment is there, right? And it's not going to continue to be there if you got the same guy who's tanking.
Icon says Calipari's going to get flipped on if they don't make it with all of his reclassing. Calipari's always been a guy that he said that he would recruit. He'd rather have talent over experience. That's why he liked all the freshmen. I think this day and age, that's a silly statement. It seems like the kids that have been there 2 or 3 years through the portal are a lot farther along. But I don't know if Arkansas has the same expectations as what Kentucky did, though. I'm not 100% sure
absolutely not. Arkansas is not Kentucky basketball, you guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Arkansas is going to – I mean, they're the number one recruiting class again. Cal has some wins, few wins, whatever. But
if you combo that number one recruiting class with the second and Sweet 16, exit year after year, and he doesn't make an Elite Eight another 3 or 4 years from now, then that's why he left here. That's why it got real hot for him real quick, because the last 5 years were not Kentucky basketball standard.
No,
as much as we loved Cal and as much as he did and as much success that he had, it was tanking. It just was, and it was time for a change.
The results in the NCAA tournament, St.
What have you done for me lately?
Absolutely, and that's what it's kind of what I've said. Of course, and I know we should never lose to Oakland. I get that, but the performance Golke put up was just godlike. He didn't do as much in the next game, but a lot of that was, a lot of people love going, and I see where the comment comes from, we're everybody's Super Bowl. I see where that comes from. A lot of times Kentucky gets everybody's best effort.
But you know what? That's why you play at Kentucky.
Right.
Because you overcome that. You're built to overcome that.
And that's when he would say, Kentucky's not for everybody. There's truth to that.
There's a lot of that is the most truthful thing that's ever been stated about Kentucky basketball. It's not for everybody.
And there's some of these guys that, for example, Lamar Wilkerson that went to Indiana when he said he didn't want to go to Kentucky and be just another player. Well, I watched him in the summer league the other day, and he didn't even look like he existed.
Just another player. Think about how dumb that statement is. I mean, come on. Just okay. Pat, how many points did Devin Booker average at Kentucky his freshman year? Like 9 points.
9, 10.
He was just another player.
And now look at him.
He scored 72 in the NBA.
Max contract, yeah.
He didn't start, but he was just another player at Kentucky. Just.
And that's what told me that you can tell by watching and listening to a lot of these guys talk that they don't really know or understand the Kentucky tradition. And I think that's what a lot of the older guys, their biggest – I talked to a guy last night, and he was in his 70s, and he likes Kentucky. He likes Pope, and he likes Cal, but he doesn't understand why, Kentucky is not like the Kentucky of old, like why they don't have 4 or 5 guys starting that are from the hills and mountains of Kentucky. He wants Kentucky guys on the roster. And I tried to explain to him, I'm like,
games change, times change.
Well,
players have changed.
Those guys from the mountains in the 50s and 60s couldn't make a day's team. The athleticism, the quickness, but I was just trying to explain to him, I'm like, look at the Kentucky guys we've had on our team, in the past, I really believe that Cal was being forced to take some of these Kentucky guys his last few years. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Do you really?
Yeah, just because there was just a lot of the donors and stuff I heard, and a lot of people talking on,
you think he was forced to take Dante Allen?
I don't know if I want to say forced is the right reason or right answer, but it's like he wasn't even offering Kentucky kids, and he started offering a lot of them.
Well,
Dante was Mr. Basketball. He's coming off an injury.
I hate to say it, but was there really a pool to where he could actually pull from, you guys? Tell me somebody who he missed on. We got Dominique Hawkins.
Yeah,
he brought in Derek Willis.
We got Shepard.
We got Reed Shepard. Come on, you guys. It's not like the pool is like he's looking at 30.
That's true.
If it's Kentucky high school player, there is legitimately 1 to 3 guys per year that could even qualify for that recruitment, right?
I'm not going to
Maybe.
say he didn't miss on Noah Icon. I think he actually offered Noah, and Noah chose South Carolina, didn't he? Or did Cal not offer Noah?
Cal did not offer Noah.
Okay. All right. He went after Perry, but not Noah. And I've said it on the show, I actually respect Noah for staying out 3 years at Kentucky. There was times last year he was our best rebounder. If he knocks down shots this year, I think he might play a few minutes, but I respect him for staying there. But that doesn't mean I don't respect Trent Perry for doing what's best for him, or Travis Perry, I should say. Travis Perry.
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys want to play ball, man. I do the same thing.
And I think that's what started the argument last night with me and Peanut. Peanut likes loyalty, and Peanut didn't think that Perry should have left Kentucky. And I said, how dare us, not like a kid because he's doing what's best for him.
Right.
He said that he left
because
he did not want
him to stay, and it satisfies your own,
well, what got me was when he said that Perry just didn't want to compete for minutes. And I said, you don't make it to the D1 level without being competitors.
I call bull on that.
Yeah, I did too. That's exactly what I said. But I will say this.
Travis went to the situation that he thought was best for him to play and excel. And guess what? He probably got a little bit bigger of an NIL bag from Ole Miss as well. So
you
got to bundle that in with that decision too. So
okay, that was Icon.
And I bet I'd bet everything I got that Peanut would say, okay, if I got 300 grand here and I got 800 grand over here, I'm taking that $500,000 more.
Yeah, that was okay. It was Icon, not Peanut. Okay, my bad, Peanut. It was Icon. Okay. But I still, my argument stands the same no matter who it was. It was that D1 guys aren't scared of competition. They're not scared to compete. They've competed their whole life. But I've also said that, and Perry didn't know this, but he would have got a lot of run at point guard last year after Lowe got hurt. Now, we didn't know that, and he probably would have started, and we probably would have been better off.
Immediately, I said that. I said, man, I wish we had Travis.
Right. And that, but I'm not going to hate on Perry
like that, right?
I'm not going to hate on Perry for going to Dayton.
No,
I think he'll have a good year there. Dayton's a pretty good mid-major.
I hope he's all conference.
Me too. Did you see his comments though? Perry's comments this week about going to Dayton.
What did he say?
He's just saying being a Kentucky boy and leaving Kentucky the last year was one of the hardest things he's ever had to do.
I guarantee it was very difficult.
And that's when he mentioned, like, he had people in his mentions, he had people in his inbox. He had, being a Kentucky person.
I bet you that was the hardest decision he's ever made.
Absolutely.
I totally get it. I mean, you got a guy who grew up Kentucky, born and bred, wanting to play for the brand of Kentucky. But at the end of the day, would you take a job that makes less money, that has less opportunity? Right?
I just think it's, what I said was, and I looked at it a little differently. I said I would take less money knowing I was going to get more opportunity at Dayton. Like, he's probably going to play more, maybe even start.
No. I mean, I'm talking leaving. I'm saying Kentucky was less because we all know that Travis Perry was going to get recruited over top of every year. And his opportunities at Ole Miss, Dayton, are going to be more than he would have ever gotten at Kentucky. And that's okay. I don't blame him. I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I said I would have done the same thing. And I don't look at it as being afraid to compete. I don't look at it as him scared of whatever. But then again, I also know, like Todd says, there are people who would take less money to stay at UK. Trent Noah probably would be one. He could probably get more money going to South Carolina or somewhere wherever he attended the first time.
And the question is, how much less does that have to be? How much more or less does that have to be? Think of it this way. You don't think that Jared Polson could have contributed at a mid-major level and made a bigger NIL bag than what Kentucky could have offered him if that was the thing back then?
Absolutely.
But that wasn't the thing. So he said, okay, I'll ride the Kentucky ride while I can. And I don't blame him. I mean, it is what you're at Kentucky. He was on the championship roster.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on rosters that were full of NBA guys. That's a freaking dream come true. But
he's probably got Anthony Davis in his cell phone. You know what I'm saying?
You got I don't know, Akron, who says, "Hey, man, you'll be our starting point guard, and I'll pay you $850,000. You tell me that he wouldn't go there?
I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
If
I'm going.
If somebody's offering $1 million and I can play more and get 850,000, I'm out.
I'll say, when can I come? Where do I go? Tell me.
How do I sign up? I agree.
Yeah. I'll be there.
I agree 100%. And that's the
You
thing.
got to think about it like that. Like it's a totally different landscape than it's ever been in college basketball.
And that's what I was trying to say. Like when Momchilovich was being recruited and they kept saying, well, why don't you just go to Kentucky? They're offering the most money. What's the difference in 11 million and 10 million? When you're already a millionaire, I'm not for sure, if there's a big difference in $1 million when you've already got $9 million. But Todd wants to know who the most famous person in your contacts are. That's a good question.
I've never been asked that question.
I don't have anybody famous. Oh, I've got Preston Spradlin. He's the head coach at James Madison University. Coached Justin McBride last year.
How long has he been at JMU?
3 years now, I think.
Okay, I was going to say because I had a buddy that played at JMU whenever
he was at Morehead State, and he left Morehead State to go to JMU.
Okay. Most famous? I don't know anybody famous. You guys, listen. I'm just I'm a former ball player who I own an insurance agency in Georgetown. The most famous person in my
Bud Mackey.
But Bud's not. I played against Bud. I played with Bud. Fun fact: I played against Bud in jail. When I was at Asbury, we used to go to prisons and play prison games over the summers. And I played against Bud while he was in prison.
Bud could play.
Oh my gosh, Bud would have been an NBA All-Star. I mean, he was a freak athlete.
He went to Indiana, right?
No, he got offered. He got arrested before
That's
he
right.
He got arrested before he even graduated Scott County. Better yet, the principal, the assistant principal that was at Scott County at the time was at my remote last night. And that topic kind of came up as we were ending the show, and he kind of turned around and looked at me and was like, guys, I don't have anybody famous in my contacts. I'm trying to think like shoot, I mean no one really. I don't know. Honestly, I don't have an answer. Like I don't know anybody famous. Come on.
Yeah, like
Chris Adams.
I can tell you this. Chris Adams is known by a lot of people.
He is
famous. Every time I mention Kentucky, it was even at the remote yesterday. Somebody came up and introduced himself. He comes into the show as WKRP. I don't know if he's been in your chat or whatever, but he came into a lot of my chats early on. I've not seen him in a while, but he came up and introduced himself to me, and I said, "Yeah, I'm Patrick. Does the Stay Hot podcast or whatever?" And he's like, Chris Adams? No, I don't actually.
A lot of he comes across a lot of timelines, it seems like, because the way he kind of portrays himself in his show. But yeah, I think he's made himself famous because of that.
Well,
and fine. I mean, do you? I mean, it's your show.
Well, right. It's his show, his brand. He can do whatever he wants, and I'm not here to tell him different. I like to hear other people's sides, though, and perspective. But and I've always said though, is it negative? Even if the person's saying the right things, is it still negative?
No.
I mean, we want people to be honest. That's the first thing everybody says. I just want to hear honesty. I want transparency.
Listen, sometimes we all know that there's a thing that says sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes if you hear what you don't want to hear, but it's the truth, and sometimes it has to be said in order for change to occur.
And sometimes you only like or don't like what you hear as if it fits your narrative.
Right.
And that's just Keaton Belcher. Hey, he's in my contacts too. He's the head coach at Tate's Creek. Does that make him famous? Poor Keaton.
Yeah, I don't know any famous people. Who do y'all think I am?
Well, listen, I do, and I can honestly say I do know George Clooney. He graduated from my high school. He comes back all the time. We see him, but he is not in my phone contacts. I do not have his number.
Steve Zahn lives in Georgetown. If y'all didn't know.
Oh, the actor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
He has a farm. He has a farm here in Scott County. I
agree with that, Icon. I agree with that. But what is What did he play in?
Steve Zahn's been in
In a lot of movies, I know, but I
He's
can
been
see his
in all
face.
kinds. He was in the White Lotus. He was in. Oh my gosh, Steve Zahn's been in a million things.
Yeah,
Great actor. So I think there was like a new like bakery pub that opened up in Midway, and they put up a post, and Steve Zahn is at the counter checking out, and he's like,
That's awesome. That is
Saving Silverman. That's I see you, Jake. That's a good one too.
Jake Cornette does not he does not reply or comment in the chat often, but when he does, he's throwing out bangers.
When he says anything, he says it with a purpose, and it's.
I met Jake yesterday. I met him yesterday. Great dude. Me and him was actually talking about coming, but when we looked at coming to Georgetown, but when we looked at the time, we just never would have made it. It had been after 5 o'clock before we'd gotten there, and I didn't know how long you all were going, so I just kind of left it at that. But I definitely want to check out one. Definitely want to check out one. So Chainsaw, welcome, man. I ain't seen you in a while. Justin Johnson, Braxton Beverly, Cameron Justice, even Hall, all could have. Did Cameron Justice play at Louisville? I'm trying to think. Can't remember. I think Cameron Justice went somewhere, I think, and or maybe he went to Pikeville. I don't know. But I don't know if all of them could have played at Kentucky just from an athletic standpoint. I think you're muted, Austin, or I'm something.
Okay.
If
I'm thinking of who I actually have in my contacts, and God rest his soul, I mean most famous
Billy Hicks,
probably Billy Hicks.
Yeah, well, I think.
I mean, you're talking about he's a top 5 Kentucky high school coach of all time. So
well,
yeah,
I mean, how many state tournaments has he won?
I think Coach Hicks has 2. I think he had 2 titles.
I can tell you this: when he wore the red blazer down there, everybody knew who he was.
If red came out, we knew it was tourney time.
Is that the only time he wore it?
Yes, Coach Hicks only wore red in March.
Well, I can tell you a Kentucky all-star that played for Louisville today, Carson Williams from Owen County. He actually played well the minutes they put him in. He dunked one, and number 30 for the VIlle.
Okay, that's who that was.
Carson Williams from Owen County, Mr. Basketball.
I was wondering who that was. Anthony Elijah played. So I played against Elijah. I grew up playing against Elijah.
I think I remember
up playing against Jared Polson. Deron Lamb hit the 3 against us to beat us in the national semifinals my junior year of AAU.
Wow. Who did he play for?
New York Gauchos. So then we played in the consolation game against Patrick Young, and I can't remember.
Was he built like a monster then too?
You know what? I didn't even know it was him at the time. We beat him by 30.
Really? Ran him off the floor.
Ran him off the floor. I played against Terrence Jones. I played Kyrie. We put our best player to guard Kyrie. It was a tournament in West Virginia. He had about 38. We won the game, but Kyrie gave us about 40.
Yeah. Did Justin Johnson play at where did he play high school? I know that name.
I don't know who Justin Johnson is.
Oh, I do.
I know Jay Johnson. I didn't play with him.
Chainsaw, where did he play high school? I think it was down around was it like Johnson Central, Clay County, somewhere down Eastern Kentucky? Perry Central.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it takes a whole nother level of athleticism to play at Kentucky, and
oh my God, yes.
And
I mean, to play D1 in general, size and athleticism is the difference. And we always played Moorhead in an exhibition, and what ultimately was the deciding factor was we just couldn't keep up with them athletically, and they were just bigger than us.
Right.
You're talking about skill, skill level is the same. Size and athleticism is the gap that's noticeable when you look at a good NAI team against a D1 team or a good D2 team against a D1 team. There's just that step that you just don't see at the lower level.
And that's one of the good things about watching the summer league, because in summer league we got it's general admission. So once you buy a ticket, you can pretty well get to wherever you want to sit and whatever's available. And so I sat down kind of low, and you can see it a lot more in person than on TV, just how quick those guys really are.
Yes.
And
how big they are.
Oh, yeah. Mara from Michigan, he looked a lot bigger in person than on TV.
He's a giant.
I mean,
I watched the guys walk in the gym in front of me today.
Yeah.
Like I said, these guys are huge.
I mean, like 4 guys huge. That are 7 foot,
they're huge.
And I've always been told, no matter what the level is, size is one thing you can't teach.
Can't teach it. You can't teach it. You also can't teach, athleticism, man. Like it's God-given. Both of those are God-given. Can you improve athleticism a little bit? Yes, but predominantly that's just God-given.
Right, I agree 100%. But
like watching Sean McNeil today in that game, if he had 2 or 3 more inches, he's in the NBA.
Oh, I know when the ball left his hands, I felt comfortable it was going in, and it didn't even hit the rim.
His release is smooth, man.
He had a high release. It was quick. He got his shot off quick.
Mechanics are there. Skill is there. It's the size and athleticism is what the game changer is for the elite level play and professional play.
Peanut says, I saw a couple comments about Justin McBride somewhere. Anyone want to elaborate what's up with him? Is he out? He didn't go to Vegas with them. I'd heard he's sick, but he wasn't at the game with the team today either. I guess mum's the word on him. I'm not real sure.
I wouldn't freak out about it, y'all. I think he'll be around. He's on the roster. There's nothing that I wouldn't freak out about it.
I mean, it could be anything from homesick to I wouldn't think that's the case, but you never know with these kids nowadays. I do know that they're all about to leave campus.
I'm gonna step away for 10 seconds.
I'm getting ready to go anyhow, man. I'm gonna be done. Right, cool. So I'll just go ahead and close it off right now. But cool. All right, guys, remember to check out the Mega Podcast starting on Tuesday. Thank you again, Austin, for coming on. Thank you guys for the chat. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Stay tuned. Yep.
Stay hot.
VIlle.